Hello? Bobby? Sean? It's Howie. Boob Scratch and I have found ourselves in quite the pickle. We ended up using most of the nuclear vodka as fuel and are now stranded somewhere in India in a jungle. Alexei ran the vodka truck into a tree and left us hanging. I fear we're in terrible danger. The Jaguars are everywhere. Luckily, we found a large plastic phallus labeled Luckwood, and we've been able to hold them at bay for now. Watch out, Bob Scratch! Take that! Boys, we're on our own. Please trace this call. Alexei left us days ago on a quest to noodle goonch catfish. I don't believe we'll ever see him again. I'm really hungry. Is there any place to get like burger around here? Please, Bobby and Sean, help us. These birds are gross. Get away from me, you disease-winged rat.
How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are ready for an amazing show. Jigs and Bigs this week. It's me, Bobby Roast Beef. I got Sean the Fisherman here with us. We have some amazing stuff. We're going to talk about that you just heard. We're just playing that so that you guys get an idea of the insanity we have lined up for you. We'll get to all that, but we have a lot more going on. We have, first off, we're going to wrap up both of our weeks. We have this week, yes, it is after Veterans Day, but we do have the Veterans Day Roundtable. That's coming up. We've got two previous guests from this last year. Both have served, and both sit down with Sean the Fisherman, and it's a great conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. We also have a couple of big announcements, an episode that's coming up in just a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, that you're definitely, this is one of our most popular episodes it's ever dropped, and it's an annual thing. You're going to love it. We have, of course, in Just the Tip this week, we're going to talk about sponsorships and the money side of things. Like, what does it all mean? Ways that you can actually get yourself a little bit more respect in the game. That's what we're talking about here. It's all about the money. Follow the money. You'll find out the tips. We also have a very interesting FTG this week. It actually doesn't involve fishing at all. It involves deer hunting. And we'll get to that in just a bit. Of course, it is November. We have no tournament stuff at all going on this week, but we got so much more good stuff coming up for you guys. You are not going to want to miss it. Guys, go ahead and get yourselves comfortable. Sit right back and enjoy the big show, because we've got a doozy this week. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back right after this. What I do, man. I do the doozies. It's so funny, Sean. Last week we were kind of riffing on the fact that it's like, here we are. It's cold. It's cold weather. The water's getting really cold. Folks are out deer hunting. There's fewer fishermen than ever out there, and it's getting challenging to catch fish. It's also a weird time of year because so many people are just busy, and getting out on the water kind of sucks as well. But your boy made it happen at the 0 hour, if you would. And I mean, just like, last week especially, we were talking about how there was so little going on. We were kind of like, trying to get water from a dry well. And here we are. We have so much good stuff for our listeners. How was your week there, Sean? How's things?
Mine was all right. I caught half that. That when we're doing the show, sometimes, you and I are both taking notes, various things. Yeah. I was actually writing right there. Would you like me to hear? Would you like to hear what I was writing?
I'm highly interested in what you were writing. Tell me. Old school paper. You're going vintage.
I take notes. Dear Three Bells, we may not be able to return Howie to your employ. What happens in that case? Thanks. Signed, STF.
Yeah, I don't know what's going now. Let's bring everybody up to speed because we've picked up some listeners since the last engagement we had. That call from Russia that came in from Howie and oddly enough, somehow Bobcat was involved there, and Alexei. Now he mentions Alexei in this call, and that Alexei has left him to. Did he say noodle goonch catfish?
I think we've seen the last of Alexei.
I think
out noodling goonch catfish.
Yeah. I mean, Alexei always kind of struck me like he had a death wish anyway. It's probably the kind of situation, you know. So for those listeners that don't know this story with Howie came to us through our connection at Three Bells Outfitters. We initially had gone for a couple of meetings and then decided to record down at Three Bells, and this was just back in February. And, you know, he's got some background with production, you know, so we thought maybe he would be a valuable resource. He snuck in and stowed away in Sean's truck, and we ended up dragging him back here. And we decided we would make him our intern around here at the Jigs and Bigs HQ. So we figured we would kind of like make him an intern, you know, see if he's got the chops production wise to make it work and everything else. And it went horribly off the rails, like horrendously so. We had him on as a guest previously, and we learned that he is a man with a very twisted, perverse past.
And present.
Yeah. And then oddly enough, he just sort of disappeared with this weird kind of character, Alexei. And then he ended up in Russia. And this is like, that's when we got that last call from him. And oddly enough, like Bobcat Goldthwait was bumbling around over there, which is kind of odd. And that call gave us some information regarding some nuclear vodka that had come from was it a Chernobyl crop of apples?
True.
I mean, it was nuts. It was absolutely insane. But that's what we're dealing with now. So now all of a sudden they're in India, fighting off, and I quote, Jaguars.
Look, let's not mock the British here.
I shouldn't. But it's just, I find it's very odd that now we finally hear from them now that they've been kind of stranded by Alexei. And I mean, hopefully all goes well. That call he asked for help, and I don't know necessarily what we can do. If you're listening to the show and you know of a way that we could help out Howie and bring Howie home, I mean, we've tried in the past, but he's somehow managed to like blow us off every single time we've tried to reach out to him. But very interesting. Maybe we have to get in touch with Nadia, the red wine drinker, and have her. Yes. Yeah.
Am I correct that Bobcat was asking for a burger place in India? I don't
think
that's very popular.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was trying to be funny or what, but yeah, something tells me that good luck. He's probably not going to find a burger place in India. I don't know.
We should probably let Three Bells know that he's not going to be back for the trifecta if he's in India.
No, he's definitely not going to be back for trifecta. That's for sure. And they weren't exactly happy that he wasn't there this time around. But I mean, we picked up the slack. You know, we covered his ass because it's what we do. But Howie, man.
I mean, I remember the first time around when we got asked from Three Bells, you know, how's Howie doing? My answer was, oh, he's fine. We got him getting coffee, helping out with the production. Yep. He's in Russia, smuggling nuclear vodka across state lines.
And he said they used it as fuel?
Apparently.
What the hell is this?
I don't know.
Howie, I don't know about you, man.
I heard they could I heard they burn warts off mules with that vodka. It would power a truck, my guess.
In fact, didn't we just relive that interview with Howie on our way down to the Clutch Show, if I'm not mistaken?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
That was a mess. He's definitely left a mark, but I don't know. Like, and by leaving a mark, I'm not talking about like herpes or anything like that. I'm sure that's been the case as well, but Howie's a
It's also very good to know that Lockwood branded toys
How did that
made
come
their way
into play?
across the ocean. No.
So for those that have no idea what we're talking about there, do y'all remember Boats and Scroats this last summer? We had a blast with Boats and Scroats. After the tournament and after all that was done, we had a huge get-together, meet-up with everybody from the Hookset Hoodlums pro staff, the Old Glory Outdoors pro staff, and a bunch of friends of the show. And we had, some listeners that popped in. We had a nice array. There was pizza, there was beer, there was Rocky Mountain oysters, a.k.a. bull testicles. There were. Yeah, it was magical. And at the end of the night, your dynamic duo right here, Sean the Fisherman and Bobby Roast Beef, left the one and only, you guys might remember Cody Van Zant, Lockwood Fishing on Instagram. He had left the party with a gift, if you will, an adornment on the rear of his trailer of phallic nature.
We really got to give credit where credit's due.
We really do.
While we may have been the masterminds behind this, there was a trigger man.
There was a trigger man.
The trigger man, which we have to. I want to give him credit. It wasn't us.
We have to. Yeah,
I would love to say it was, but no. This man was just expert level.
Yeah.
Of fastening a 12-inch giant dildo to the back of a tailgate of
massive.
I mean, securely enough that it made it all the way from Massachusetts to Maryland. Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
the size of that water bottle.
Yeah,
but we're not gonna rat anybody out.
Nope.
We're not narking out people here.
Nope.
That person who did this, you know who you are.
We want to give you a round of applause because you did well. You stepped up. You heard the call and you stepped up. You answered the call. So that appendage we know did make it down to Maryland. It entertained a group of college girls somewhere in Jersey on the way. Yes. And I remember hearing about this because I think Cody had said, he goes, Derek was just cracking up laughing because there was this carload of college girls driving by, like laughing at us and pointing. And he knew it was back there and said nothing to Cody. It was great. But I don't know how it managed to get to India. I know that Cody was asked at some point to remove it. I don't know if it was by environmental officials, like at a boat launch or something. But he left it there as a badge of honor, which it was. It was a badge of honor.
Possibilities here. Let's logically think this.
Break
through.
It down.
It was removed, right?
It was.
Not saying we know Lockwood's not going to litter, but
nope.
If it fell off the trailer, got into the water supply, somehow migrated all the way up, across the Atlantic, it would have to go around Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's one well-traveled brick.
Yeah. It would have to get up into a river.
Yeah.
It would have to get up into a lot of things and then make its way to wherever the hell Howie is. I mean, that's one possibility. Another possibility is Stretching Lines finally started outsourcing some of their work to India, and that's the one particular mold they outsourced.
That's the one mold. They were like, no. When you were looking for the lunker, this is what you throw.
It was to cut down on the insane amount.
We never knew ye.
The insane amount of plastic used in that mold. They had to cut costs somewhere. They're being made in India. It's all right. It's all good. We understand. It's a world economy. We get it. We get it. We all buy stuff from China. It's
yeah. Oh, 100%.
It's impossible not to.
To our jig heads, we're going to post a picture of this, of the handiwork that went into this trailer. I mean, it's not a hood ornament, a trailer ramp ornament, maybe. Yeah, I think that's the better a trailer ornament that went in here. We'll post a picture for our jig heads on the Patreon so you guys can see this. I would just post it on Instagram, but I don't want my account deleted. It's really what it gets down to. So we'll put that on up there for our patrons. They can check it out and everything else. Otherwise, I'd gladly share it with you guys on Instagram. But you know how it goes.
There was an actual video recorded too by myself of the trailer departing with its new ornament. Unfortunately, I think I'm not only speaking for myself, but I think there was a high degree at that point of the evening of impairment.
Yes, there was. Everybody, to one degree or another.
Leave that alone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Still pictures, I think, are best. What we'll do is we'll put together. Oh, you know what? I have a better idea for the patrons, for the jig heads. I'm going to post a video of a slideshow with background music, maybe a little narration, the whole nine. That's what I'll do. I'll post that for you guys so you can check that out.
We could pixelate it too. We could do something.
We could do that. That's not a terrible idea. And of course, Loaded Potato being the sage minstrel of wisdom, he says you'll poke your eye out. You'll do more than that.
I did not also, you know what? I'm gonna put a bow on the wiener here.
There you go. Put a bow on it.
We've got stuff to post, folks. Enjoy that. My friend Loaded Potato, I did not get a chance to talk to this past week. I want to wish him a happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Happy Veterans
Day. He was obviously a part of our
the initial special. Yeah.
The inaugural roundtable last year, which we had a blast with. We all went fishing, and then we sat around outside of Old Glory. You were the sound guy, aka mental patient that day, and we had a nice little roundtable, and we had the same thing this year.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I did narrow it down. I said I wanted to go no more than 3 people because I really wanted to talk. I felt after re-listening to last year's, it was absolutely awesome. But I'll be quite frank, I had no fucking idea what I was doing. And I think we had myself, Joe, Bill from Hookset, Joe from Old Glory, Joe Brown.
Who the fuck is Joe Brown?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had Berkshire Brett, and we had Andy. So that was 5 of us, right?
Yeah.
Joe, Bill, Andy.
You put Brett in there?
Berkshire Brett.
Yep. Huh? Berkshire Brett. Yep.
Berkshire Brett and myself, right? So that's 5 people. Yeah, I tried to narrow it down a little more. So I asked Brandon, Dust Off Fishing. I asked Albert, I'm going to fuck his IG handle up. Canyon Lake,
Kayak. Texas Angler.
God damn it. I knew it was Canyon Lake something. And I did ask my friend and yours, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
Swamp Rat Fishing. Alex was unable to attend, so we just kept it at 2 this year. And that's what I'll do. I'll keep it at a small number. We got to have a chit chat, and you guys will hear that a little later on.
I think he was doing some decorating on the ship.
He was.
And I think there's a video, actually, the room reveal.
I thought the video was of him running slow motion down a beach with his hairy chest and his
chariots of fire.
And a Firebird behind him with a red light moving back and forth from the front.
Oh, good Lord.
Wow. All right. Nobody's going to get that.
Yeah, nobody.
Nobody's even old enough. Never mind. It was a Hasselhoff joke.
It was a Hasselhoff joke. Yeah. Do you remember Western Mass? Not just Western Mass, but New England listeners will get this. There was a short window of time where David Hasselhoff was the spokesperson for Cumberland Farms Coffee.
No, I don't remember that. How many years ago was that?
This had to have been like 2007-ish, maybe between 2007 and 2010, somewhere around that window.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I have something to add, but
they stopped the campaign because apparently, at least this is the story that kind of like, maybe it's an urban legend. I don't know, but the story was this: is they had all of these like corrugated plastic signs, and they were like 6 feet tall. And they were cutouts of Hasselhoff, like drinking the Cumbies coffee or whatever, doing Hasselhoff things. And they were going missing with like an alarming amount of regularity. And they were just like, this has to stop because he's a cult icon. Come on.
Was it him or someone else that got in trouble for being recorded like hammered drunk and saying some really inappropriate shit?
Well, I want to say that used the proper term. I think it was face fucking a bag of Wendy's.
That's what it was. I remember there were burgers involved.
There were burgers involved.
Yeah, but he was saying some shit that should not have been said.
Oh yeah, come on,
don't do that.
And this was also around that time that like Mel Gibson lost his mind and like left a bunch of voicemails on his ex-wife's. Yes. Yeah, you remember that?
It was the same amount of time. It was like you had some horrible things that Mel Gibson was saying, and then the Hoff comes in, just wasted, knocking down some Wendy's.
Loaded Potato coming in clutch here. He goes, his daughter recorded it. That's right. Yep. It was his daughter that recorded that. Oh man. Yeah, that was crazy. Those were the days when I worked in news. I worked in television. When that was like the lead story, I was just like, I got to get out of this business. I got to get out of this business.
The misstep that they made there was completely rectified, even though it was an aging, well past his prime Ric Flair. When Cumberland Farms got Ric Flair as a sports
that was
spokesperson, and what was that, like 2 years ago? Last year?
Yeah,
it was right before the pandemic.
Yeah, it went back a little while too, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I don't think they did the cutouts like to the size and the like number of locations, but he was on a lot of posters. Like it was good.
Yeah, there's a backstory on that. I'm not going to get into on air. I'll tell you something else. We know someone who ran into him who works at Cumberland Farms. I'm just not going to say it on air, but this person was polite enough to post on social media. So I came into work today and Ric Flair was there, which was awesome.
That's freaking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Unfreaking believable.
Good stuff. So what'd you do this week? Did you say you caught a fish?
I did catch a fish at the 0 hour. I had gone out for a couple of, that's the thing. We get to this time of the year, and my ability to carve out like a nice day and go and just either pond hop or, I'm not getting in the kayak right now. It's just too cold. So I'm doing a lot of bank stuff. But to be able to carve out like a good chunk of time and make that work is crazy. We get into September is usually pretty challenging because I have a lot of like additional work that seems to come through there. We get into October is generally pretty good. Most of my events are evening events. So like I can generally get out during the day every once in a while. And once we get into November, it's really spotty. Some of these sends are like under an hour. I'll just go out and I'm going to, that's what the case was today. So I couldn't buy a bite this week. Generally, we got to Friday, and I don't even think I got out on Friday at all. If I did, it was fruitless. And then Saturday,
this week was just wave after wave of fronts. It was every other day we got a front.
Yeah, it was bananas. It really was. And I got out to so I'll back up over my whole weekend, but the fish catch was like kind of the icing on the cake. So all like month long, I've been talking about how excited I am about this past Saturday. My wife and I were going to see one of our favorite bands together, the Flaming Lips. They played in Albany, and we had made a weekend of it. We drove up early Saturday afternoon. We checked into our hotel, hung out, had a really, really nice dinner at a great restaurant, and then we went to the concert over at the Palace. And it was a great show. It was amazing. We had front row tickets. Like front row center tickets. We couldn't have had a better spot. I haven't seen the Flaming Lips in like 15 years. It's been a long time. And I've seen them a handful of times in the past. It's always a great show. My wife has never seen them. And for her first experience seeing this show, because it's very theatrical and it's very like, there's a lot of like, I'll say like, almost in some ways vintage and like slapped together like DIY tech that they utilize to do these shows. And we had such a great time. It was so good. She was absolutely floored. The opening band was a group. It was a 4-piece band called what was it? Particle Kid. And the interesting thing about Particle Kid, the set was great. It was really, really good. The first song, we were both kind of like, I don't know if this is for us. But the best thing about Particle, or I should say one thing that's notable about Particle Kid is that it's fronted by Micah Nelson. Micah Nelson is Willie Nelson's son. So you're like, oh, wow, this is, music royalty, like American music royalty here. This is crazy. And he came out and played guitar on one of the songs on the new album, on the new Flaming Lips album. And it's probably, the Flaming Lips are not known for guitar solos. And this is, wow. Like, he freaking was just awesome. It was such a great time. We had an awesome time. We came back, got a decent night's sleep, and then head out nice and early today because basically we just wanted to hang out with the kids and the dogs. And we got back home. And my youngest daughter was in the neighborhood. She was over at her friend's sleeping over, and she came home, and we all had lunch. And then my wife says, "Oh, let's go for a walk." And I said, "Well, what do you say we go to one of these places?" And I listed off some spots where there was some water where I could fish. And, because I'm, trying to, we can make family time together. You guys go for your walk because they have no interest in walking around in nature or anything like that. So we go to what ended up being one of my like old faithful spots, like one of the places where I go normally. So they're going for a walk. I'm doing my thing. And I brought one rod. I brought my Ned rod, my Ned rig, basically, 7-foot medium, extra fast with a 300 size reel, and I just threw a weedless Ned, little 16th ounce Ned, and I got a couple of bites. I had one pickerel. I could see the flash. It was that shallow, and I had a smallie beaver and one of those little side flanges. I happen to have one like right over here. One of these little side flanges right here. He took about half of it, that little pickerel, right off the side. Kept the same plastic and everything else. Worked this bank, found some, submerged timber. And the bites, because I do think there were many bites, were unbelievably subtle. I really should have been using a lighter rod. I really probably should have been because it was very hard to detect a bite. I had to do a lot of line watching. And I caught one little 11-inch nibbler, got the job done. I was like, well, that's good. And it was, when I grabbed this fish, it was ice cold. These fish were moving so slow and had to just literally just bounce that Ned so slowly. Nothing was hitting out on the fall. It was just nuts. So, but it was nice. I got it done. I was like, it's basically like the perfect weekend. Amazing show, killer dinner, did a little traveling, some family time, and I managed to even get on a fish in the middle of November. I'll take it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's a win.
That's good. My week sucked.
Yeah, your week did suck.
My week sucked.
Well, don't sugarcoat it.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. It sucked balls. As we mentioned on the last show, I had a transducer issue, and that's being worked through Three Bells and the manufacturer. So I have two choices. I actually have three choices. I can either go out. Well, actually, it'll be really difficult to do that because the boat's completely taken apart. So I'd have to. Choice number one is put the Slayer completely back together without the wiring in it, which I don't think is a good idea. And it's a waste of time because I'm going to have to take it apart again when the wiring gets here.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, go out in my Native Ultimate. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a possibility. I'd be paddling, not pedaling. And, that would limit me to smaller waters because I wouldn't want to be, with the weather we've had.
Oh, definitely.
I wouldn't want to get trapped out in anything. The third option, both boats have Garmins. Mm-hmm. There was a possibility that I could move the transducer, which would be a pain in the ass because I'd be cutting, some of the things that are securing things in place, etc. I didn't want to do that work. I didn't want to move it boat to boat. So this week, me and the boys, we went out in the backyard. We raked leaves. We raked and we blew and we bagged 50 leaf bags worth of leaves. Then it rained and that high force wind came in a couple days ago where there were tornado warnings in Rhode Island, I believe.
Oh, yeah, Rhode Island and the Cape, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So now it looks like we didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The yard is completely covered again, so I have to go out and start it all over again. That took 2 days, and it's going to take another 2 days. That's what we did on – yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's what we did on Thursday. That was my Veterans Day, was to and from the transfer station in town, just dumping leaves. That's all I did.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Being an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of it,
Yep. So.
Yeah. That's the worst because you're just like, and see where I am, I've got a multitude of different trees around me, and they seem to lose their leaves at different times. And it's just like, oh, it's hell on earth. I've given up. I'm like,
yeah, the oaks. I have a lot of oaks around me, and those seem to hang on the latest.
They do.
And they're mostly down because that storm that came through 2 days ago, that was no bullshit.
Yeah, we were on the road when that happened. We actually, before it hit here, we were in the Berkshires, and it started just like pouring, and we're like, oh, yeah, hopefully, because our plan was we stayed at the hotel that we picked was walking distance to the venue where the show was, and it was intentional. So we parked the car, leave it, and then just go right from there to the show. And I was like, hopefully we miss it. And I opened up to look at I opened up Weather Underground to look at the radar while we were at dinner, and it was like a vertical line that was just like went right past. It was like, oh wow, oh so that's where that front ended. Okay.
And that was the first one, I think. The second one, or if they were different, and one hit New York and one didn't hit us, but the one that hit yesterday, and I only remember this because let me throw a little shout out here. Congratulations to Nelson's daughter's high school soccer team.
It's awesome.
I'll try to keep this real quick. The state of Massachusetts has done something different with their high schools this year. They rearranged the way they do state tournaments. It used to be you'd win your section, so you'd be facing off against, for example, other Western Mass teams in whatever division you were in, and you would come out of Western Mass as the Western Mass champion and go on to face the Central champion or the Boston Metro champion or the South Shore champion, the Cape Cod area. And it was basically a Final Four if you won your area. Now, this is the first year the state has implemented a different way of organizing teams so that it's kind of more like the NCAA tournament where you might be visiting a Boston team in the first round, and then the Final Four teams might all be from Western Mass or all be from Boston or all be from Worcester. Yeah. So it's kind of a neat thing, but congratulations to his daughter's team. They won their bracket of 8, shall we say. So they're in the Final Four, and they're facing a team from south of Boston. Winner goes to the championship.
That's awesome, man. That's huge.
Cool. And it was an overtime game too. So this was this shit was tight. Yep. Yeah, it was good stuff to watch. So congrats to them. But on the way home was when we saw that front move in yesterday afternoon, and that was my youngest son is always interested in weather patterns whenever stuff's coming west to east.
Oh yeah.
And I said, well, look, the front's right over us, and you could see that wall of clouds just moving east, waiting to smash us. And about an hour and a half later, once it got real dark, the shit came down.
Just dumped.
So, yeah, it did. And the wind was bad, too. And that's what covered my yard again with the leaves. So I got some work to do this week.
So there is... Go on.
While I'm waiting for my wiring.
There you go.
Yeah.
There is one other sort of big deal that occurred over the weekend, is that I am now officially the parent of a licensed driver.
You hit the wrong sound effect. You needed to hear the one screaming, "Oh my God, no!"
Well, so my oldest daughter, Chloe, had her exam for her driver's license on Saturday morning. And I brought her there bright and early, and, she was nervous as hell. Like the week before, I don't know if I talked about it on the show or not, I don't remember. But I had brought her to practice parallel parking. And she had, it was a little bit of a challenge. And I'm, not trying to take credit for this or anything, but when she did the parallel parking, the instructor that was doing the exam complimented her on her parallel parking. Awesome. That's a good
and that round of applause is for you, not her.
It is for me. Absolutely. You're damn right. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of her. I'm psyched for her. We're talking about we're going to hold off on tracking down a car for her until she's done with school this year. She graduates this year, and we're like, if you're going to drive, you really need to be working. You really do. And she was working for a while at a local restaurant and made the decision. She's like, I need to really focus on this year as far as grades and stuff for like college applications and things like that. So she's been putting a lot of time into that. We're like, go for it. There's no need to work right now if you don't have to. You know what I mean? But, just know like next summer's coming. You're going to want to think and figure out what you're going to do. So we're going to look around and see if we can find a car for her to go ahead and, do some damage on. I did let her, obviously with the parallel parking and everything, I did let her drive the brand new 4Runner, which hurt. It hurt a lot. Like it wasn't, I won't let my wife drive it.
Could have hurt a lot more, man.
It definitely could have. Like she did great with it. She really did. But you want to talk about nerves, man? Wow. Freaking crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's true. We couldn't have scheduled this while I was, although I needed the other one to trade. So I'm kind of glad that it all worked out the way it did. But cool. Crazy. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for her. She's super happy. Mainly, I think, because it's done. She's all set with it, and she doesn't have to panic about having to go and handle this. So that's cool.
Awesome. Congrats to her.
Yeah, very, very cool. One thing I do want to throw out there that I think I neglected to mention in the intro of the show, we actually do have 2 interview segments this week. We have one, which is the Veterans Day Roundtable. That's coming up. But the other one is with Delirious Angler. We're talking all about Maniyak Mod Shop. And Maniyak Mod Shop is his blossoming side hustle in kayak and trailer modifications, plus like all kinds of different stuff. So we talk about some of the things he's worked on, how he kind of got into it, all these other ideas. Gives a few great examples. We talk a little bit about the project with the trailer too. Things that I'm really, really excited for. I don't know if anybody's seen this yet, but on the Jigs and Bigs YouTube and on Instagram on our video feed, if you look, I put together a video this week with torque straps. And I put them to the test and brought out the kayak, and I highly recommend everybody check out this video. 2 reasons. First and foremost, I think it's a great product. Time will tell. We're going to put it through its paces, like through some of these trips and things like that. But testing it out on the trailer, it worked out great. Now, there was a little bit of movement of the kayak, but that also happened with my regular ratchet straps as they would migrate inward. Part of the trailer modifications will involve some anchor points that we can hook that will stay right in place, and once we put tension on the straps, it's not going to move at all. Plus, there's a whole additional high to upper tier that we're building to put a second kayak on top. So as far as the torque straps go, they're absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen this video, I highly recommend go and check it out either on our YouTube or on Instagram. It's available there. You can go ahead and check it out right on the Jigs and Bigs profile. But I had a blast doing that. My youngest daughter played videographer for me, and she did a great job with the camera. I'm so proud of her. She did great. And you even get to see this little shit sass the hell out of her father for making a really, really bad call. Trust me, I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but equipment went flying. Not the kayak. Not the kayak, but there was some equipment that took a ride. You're going to enjoy it. Oh, so, I mean, this is a packed show. It really is.
A lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
A lot of shit going on.
There is a lot of shit going on. We got, obviously that call with Howie and getting some information, with what's happening over there. Then we've got, the Veterans Day Roundtable. We've got Maniyak Mod Shop. That's all coming up, and that's going to be in our next segment, or in our next segment. No, segment 3. So much good stuff to be had, man. So much freaking great stuff to be had. Oh, let's talk about the fishing report. Let's do that.
You want me to go ahead and talk about that?
Let's go ahead and talk about the fishing report.
So, myself and Cheryl, we made ourselves liars, because last week we had said that we were going to do one more fishing report and then go bi-weekly. And you know what happened? Veterans Day and hunting happened.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about it because I was out doing leaves and I really didn't have much to report anyways.
Yep.
And Cheryl was up in a tree stand. So Thursday night she said, "Oh shit, I forgot to ask everyone for reports." And I said, "Don't worry about it. We're in charge.
Yeah.
We fucked up, and I'm gonna own up to it." So we'll put one out next week. We're gonna start our 2-week break here. That'll give us some time to get on the water, at least a couple of us that are still out fishing.
Yeah, that'll help.
I'm sure we could probably slip in some duck hunting. I know there's a couple duck hunters out there if that starts. I don't know when that starts, but whatever. So my bad. But please just keep an eye on Cheryl's blog. It'll be back. It's going to be sporadic throughout the holidays, and then once open water pops back up, it's just going to get regular every week again.
Well, and I don't know how much help I can be with some of the short sends and all that stuff that I'm doing, but if she needs some content, I can at least report what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to.
Anything helps. If you're out, because that's the thing. For those of us that are doing the report, I think everybody's either in a kayak or a bass boat. We don't have anybody on the shore. Am I offering you the job right now?
You might be.
Are you? I think I am.
Yeah, you might be.
We might have a new correspondent.
I might be your bank guy. You're going to be the bank over here.
You're the bank guy, and on top of that, you're going to be welcomed into this wonderful thread, this wonderful world we have going on of hunting pictures and fishing pictures and pictures of Tim Jacks with his shirt off and fish, which nobody asked for, but all of us received.
It's like, exactly. It's like one of those. It's like finding a $20 bill in somebody else's pants. You know what I'm saying?
Right next to the roll of certs.
Yeah. You're like, what? These are mine? Oh well.
Yeah, shit happens. No. So are we gonna do the Veterans Day roundtable right now? Or are we waiting for another segment?
No, I think we're gonna do it right now. So let's go ahead, Sean. Go ahead and set it up a little bit.
Again, I got in touch with a couple of fine veterans. Dust off. Brandon is still, and he's still a military member right now. I believe he's a helicopter pilot. He says that in the interview. Mm-hmm. And Albert, Canyon Lake, Texas angler. Did I fuck that up?
No, I think you nailed it.
Yeah. All right. Bonus. Albert spent some time in the Navy as a CB, which is an engineer. So those are the guys that set everything up. You got to, once we establish a forward operating location, the CBs are in there and they make the town. They don't paint the town red. Well, they eventually do, but they make the town so it can be painted red. And it was a pretty good conversation. I talked to them last week, and we did keep kind of the same format of how has your military life and your outdoors life, how have they worked together, worked against each other? What's been going on? And I had questions, they had answers. It was really nice.
That's pretty cool. Very, very cool.
Very cool. So
yeah. So let's go ahead. We're going to check it out, guys. We'll see you on the other end of this.
Hey, this is Sean the Fisherman with a special interview. I have Brandon, Dust Off Fishing, and I have Albert, Canyon Lake, Texas angler. They're veterans. This is our second year of having a Veterans Day special. So I wanted to talk to them just like I did last year with our last group of veterans. I wanted to talk to them this year about where and how does your life in the service and your life as an outdoorsman meet? And was it positive? Was it negative? I know sometimes it comes off a little negative when you're being pulled in so many different directions and you've got that service to your country. You've signed that contract. And I mean, the government owns you for as long as you've got that contract. And if you've got to work a 12-hour day, sleep there and work another 12-hour day, you're probably not going fishing or getting up in your tree stand those couple days. So real quick introduction. I think we've had both you guys on the show at different points. So just to refresh the listeners, Brandon, go ahead a little bit about yourself.
First, Sean, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course.
My name's Brandon. I have an Instagram page. Dust Off Fishing is the name of the page. The origin of the page is obviously military, based off of medical evacuation helicopters. I'm a 21-year veteran of the United States Army, currently still serving active duty at the rank of major. I can fly Apaches, Lakotas, and UH-60 Blackhawks, and I'm currently temporary duty in Alabama for a school in the Army. I'm married. I have a 12-year-old daughter. My wife's name is Andrea, and my daughter's name is Chloe. And we live in Nixa, Missouri, which is for some of you who don't know where that is, it's very close to Table Rock Lake, which is one of the best fisheries in the United States. And as you probably know, I like to fish, and I like to talk about fishing. So really glad to be here.
You're in the right place for that. Albert, we actually just had you on recently. So recent listeners should be familiar, but go ahead and give us some info.
Well, my name is Albert Rock. I was enlisted in the U.S. Navy, the Navy Seabees in particular. Served from 2000 to 2005. Got honorably discharged as a petty officer 3rd class, or E4 pay grade, and really didn't start getting into the outdoors probably until about the end of my enlistment. Really got into four-wheeling. Did a little bit of fishing, but it wasn't until recently, 2020, that I really got bit by the fishing bug after a relationship ended. But short and sweet. From San Antonio, Texas, and just enjoy fishing. And it means a lot for my health, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
I think we can all attest to that. So with you just kind of getting into the outdoors, did you do any sort of fishing or hunting, or was it just you said off-roading, right?
Yeah. Once I got, it was the end of my enlistment, and I decided to pick up a hobby, just being outdoors, just for, just something to blow off steam, or to just, get out and enjoy life. And I picked up four-wheeling. So bought my first ATV, and I just was hooked on it. And then I got the four-wheeling until about 2012, 2013, when I met my now ex-wife. And it just kind of went downhill from there for becoming a father. Ended up getting divorced, but I think eventually the outdoors kind of picked up for me, and that kind of turned things around for me in that aspect.
I'm actually a little surprised with being in the Navy that you weren't, taking a random cast here and there, when on or off duty. You got lunch breaks, right? People can go out and smoke. Why not go out and drop a jig off a boat? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the funny thing is a lot of people are absolutely flabbergasted when I tell them this, but I never once set foot on a ship in my entire Navy enlistment.
I gotcha. That just like, I was in the Air Force, and everyone's confused why everyone in the Air Force isn't a pilot. There's a whole, I get it. There's a whole world around the main jobs that people get kind of, I don't know, stereotyped into when you say you're in one branch of the service to the other. But that's awesome, man. So with going through all you've been through, and after your enlistment, all this other stuff and everything that happened personally, it's good to hear that you're kind of using the outdoors in a positive way, in a lot of the same ways that, you'll see, guys with major issues, everything from PTSD to, maybe an old Air Force guy who's got busted knees and wants to get out and pedal around a kayak. You never know. But that therapy's there. And it's, I think a lot of service members are using that. And it sounds like you are too.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, it was, the relationship that failed, it was a 4-year relationship. And when that ended up tanking, I decided that, all right, well, I'm going to pick up fishing, just because I knew I had at the time where I was living, I had a number of bodies of water that were close by. So that was the perfect outlet for me. And I've never looked back. Dare I say, it's probably saved my life.
Yeah. But definitely. This is a simple analogy, but lemonade out of lemons,
Yes.
Did you get to travel a lot while you were in, and kind of, at least do say if you were off-roading? I know you probably couldn't bring a vehicle to some of the places where you were going, but I can, I've heard from friends, let's underline that, heard from friends that sometimes when government vehicles are out in the field, sometimes their limits are tested.
Yes, that I can definitely attest to that. But to the places that I did get deployed to, two of them I can definitely name off. I can name off 3 that I've got no issues with. Was got deployed to Spain for 6 months. Got deployed to Japan for a month, and then got reassigned and redeployed to the Middle East. And got deployed for 3 weeks to the Philippines. And then my final deployment was to the Sandbox again.
Well, you went 2 out of 3 there. You had a pretty good batting average. It'll get you in the Hall of Fame. But
the National Defense Ribbon.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you've been around, you've seen quite a few things. Definitely, if you went to the sandbox, I'm sure you had to explore some vehicles' capabilities to make sure that it wouldn't, while you were driving, you wouldn't injure yourself or others. I mean, I know I had to. There's things we have to do. You know what I mean? Especially for us in the Air Force, we where I went, we had those little, I think they're 8-foot long Daewoo mini pickup trucks. You ever seen those?
Can't say that I have.
3 grown men can lift one,
wow.
Not flip it over, lift one off the ground. That's good to know in case they hit a bump the wrong way and spill over on the side and you have to get 2 other grown men to lift one. I wouldn't know. Again, just friends. I think you and I have the same friends. They do these things. But yeah, I mean, so now that you're really getting into the outdoors, right? I know we talked, Bobby talked with you during your interview while you were on. Have you gotten involved with any veterans groups? Have you seen any other vets out on the water? I know it's a bond when you're talking with somebody, or even if I'm in a parking lot and somebody sees a veteran plate, or I see a veteran plate, I might start a conversation. Do you get any of that?
For sure. My best fishing buddy, we kayak quite a bit. We usually try to schedule a time where we can go and fish together. He's a kayak angler as well. 2 different types, 2 different styles of fishing though. He definitely partakes. He favors the shallow water, casting towards the bank, where I'm the opposite. I'm gonna go offshore, drop my anchor, and I'm gonna find me some offshore structure and fish anywhere from 10 to 40 feet of water. But yeah, he served in the Army. I think during the first Gulf War.
Oh wow!
So there's a little bit of an age difference to a degree, but we share that camaraderie of fishing and that veteran background.
That's awesome. Brandon, we've left you alone for a little bit. So if you could go ahead. So you're still in, so you're seeing that that clash for time between your military service and your outdoors adventures. So talk to me a little bit about that if you've got any info for us.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing with fishing in the military is that you could use this school I'm at as a perfect example of how the military kind of clashes with fishing with, I would say mostly competing requirements for your time. So, I have a wife and a daughter, and I have a house, and I have a giant to-do list when I go home. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I can just walk in the door, drop my bags, and tell my wife, hey, I've been gone 6 weeks, but I'm going to go fishing, And so generally speaking, when I'm home, I don't have any issues with my job and my outdoorsmanship, if you will, competing with one another. It's a regular, steady, 7 to 4 o'clock kind of gig with a weekend drill. But when things like this happen, and when I was in Arizona for a couple months, and like we talked about, I have to go to Pennsylvania for a couple months here in the spring. Your family members, your friends, all kinds of other people can get resentful of your time, especially if you're not dedicating it to them. So it's a delicate balance that you have to play in so many ways. And so my buddy Albert was just talking about his friend. I've got a guy I fish with in Missouri who's a Air Force veteran, and he just had a kid. He's got a 2-month-old baby or whatever. And I kept trying to tell him, you're not going to be able to fish as much, man. It's just not going to work for you. You've got this small kid, you go fish and your wife has a baby at home, and you're gone days, hours at a time. And it gets really tough. So But my wife understands, and my friends understand that the military provides a lot of stress in my life. As you probably have recognized, the more rank and responsibility you get, the more stress and pressure is on you. And when you have a job like mine, which is flying helicopters, not only do you have the interpersonal relationship aspects of rank and decision making and meetings, but then you also have the technicality of being a professional tactical and technical expert in your airframe that you have to keep up with as well. And so you have to find a way to let off that steam, because if you don't, you're going to blow. So that's what fishing does for me. Fishing gives me an outlet. It gives me an opportunity to escape. The places that I go, I don't see a person for 8 hours, and I'm there. It's just me and the fish and the water, and somebody's trying to win. And so, but I'm very appreciative of my military service, and I don't regret a second of it.
Awesome.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a wild trip. I mean, I know I could speak for myself, definitely. And I'm pretty sure I said it last year. The military brought me to places that I'd never thought of going to before. Well, I say brought me, as ordered me to go to places I'd never gone before and or never thought of going to before. And a lot of times I was lucky enough to bring a fishing rod and get out on my own and check out a couple different places, and the same thing when I became a civilian. I did the same thing. Now it was ingrained in me, so I can, just get out and start exploring and wet a line wherever I was, get a license and see what we can do. And a lot of states are very kind to veterans regarding licenses. So it was always, really nice.
That's one of the things that, and I don't know if envy is the word, but there's some fear of the unknown that you guys have already faced. And that's like, how do you identify yourself or who you are when you're no longer wearing this uniform, And what I'm very appreciative of, especially in this country, is that when you say the word veteran, you and I are the same. There is no delineation, whether you're currently serving or whether you have served honorably, you are still a veteran, and the same courtesies are provided for both groups, which I think is amazing.
So we've talked a little bit about where, how we've served, where we've served a little bit, and how this time has really, conflicted. I mean, in Albert, in your case, you started fishing later, so more of, it's been more of a therapeutic thing for you and me and Brandon. We all covered that. So Brandon, did you get a chance to fish anywhere while deployed or during any travel at all? Any different spots that you might not have ever been taken to or gone to?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, so I'm going to post about this here in the next couple of days, but so far since I got to Alabama, I've fished at 11 different bodies of water since I've got here. And in Arizona, and one of the spots that I got to fish here was in the Gulf for red snapper, which was a fishing trip of a lifetime experience for me that I'll always remember. And then when I was in Arizona, I got to fish quite a few cool places. Peña Blanca is a place that is just some of these spots that you see, you never ever, they're just so different than what you're used to seeing. I fished a lake called Canyon Lake. It's in, what's up?
You know why we're laughing?
No.
Albert, what's your Instagram handle?
Canyon Lake, Texas Angler. But the Canyon Lake that I'm referring to is in New Braunfels, Texas.
Yeah, I didn't get to fish that one. This was crazy. It was probably, I don't know, I would probably say it's 1,000 acres, maybe at the most, but it's in the middle of a mountain range, and all they have is trout. And it's amazing, but just stuff like that. I got to fish a lot of cool places like that, so it's been a blast. So
you ate well while you were at Canyon Lake, huh?
You bet, buddy.
Yeah, fresh trout every day.
I think I caught. I'm not a count fish kind of guy. Like a lot of people keep journals and stuff like that. And I'll probably at some point get to that level, but I think I probably caught 30 fish that day, at least.
Wow.
So it was a good time. What's funny about it is people were like, you know how you're the guy catching fish and nobody else is, and they're all asking you like, what are you doing? And
happened Saturday. Yeah. It's not familiar.
Yeah, it was one of those days.
Good. Hey, those days are great when they come along, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So now going forward, do you guys have any plans, like, I mean, I know a couple of events that happen around our area that involve veterans and fishing, and I would love to get in on them. It's just a matter of making the right contacts and making that network connection. Do you guys have any plans to, be involved with any sort of veterans events going forward? Or, I mean, Brandon, in your case, any military events? Because you're still in. I mean, you there could be base fishing derbies at the base lake if there is a base lake where you're at. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. So there was a guy, his Instagram handle is acap69, but his name is like the Angry Pirate. And he's a pro angler, or some level of tournament fisherman. I don't know what the delineation is, if I'm being honest, but he just had a veterans tourney that I had to miss, but that would have been something I would have participated in. The other thing is like socks and cookies, and they send like care packages to troops. They have pop-up tournaments here and there that I want to start getting more involved with. Veterans Fishing, which is a Instagram page, currently doing a giveaway of a kayak, which you guys have talked about Rachel Walka earlier. Her dad actually donated the kayak. It's a native Slayer Propel 10. Yep. They're selling raffle tickets for that. They just stood up a Veterans Day tournament that you can get on TourneyX and register for. But most of the veteran stuff I do is with a group called the Fallen Outdoors. I don't know if you guys have heard of those folks, but it's a national organization, and they're basically dedicated to getting veterans in the outdoors. And it's not just fishing. It's hunting. It's guys like yourself on, really talented people that have some extra time. And most times they're also veterans that take people out and get them, especially, with, like you had just talked about, with the military and being kind of far away from home or not in your local area and not having access or understanding, like where launches are or what rivers are good or whatever. They take people out and they put them on fish or deer or pheasant or quail or trails or whatever it is. And it's a really cool and neat organization. And I like spending time with those folks. Jeremy Mitchell Fishing is the guy who introduced me to it, and the executive director of the Missouri portion of it anyway is a guy named Mike Unruh. Both those guys are on Instagram, but it's a really cool and neat organization. I really enjoy hanging out with those guys. So, and I think Mike works for Tackle HD too. So,
oh, that's awesome. So there's some industry support there too. That's really good. Albert, how about you? What do you have planned? Anything in the future for either getting together or, it sounds like you've got a good fishing buddy who's already a vet. So you're just going to, make him pay by drop shotting him to death. I mean,
no, definitely, any kind of veteran or military fishing programs in the area, I always try to keep an eye out for, or fishing tournaments. I haven't really dabbled in the tournament scene except a couple of times with, the Chronic Trips and the Jigs and Bigs tournaments.
Of course.
Mainly just the lake that I fish, for at least in the experience that I have with it so far, the caliber of fish that I would have to post up, they just don't really exist there. It literally took me probably about 2 weeks ago to get a fish over 3 pounds from this lake. And I've been fishing it for almost 2 years.
but They're probably in there, man. It's just, you got to figure out, over time, you'll figure out what they want and how to get a hold of them,
For sure. And that's one of those things that I just got to, be patient with. I still want to join the 5 pound club. My PB is still sitting at 4 pounds, 11 ounces, but any kind of veterans tournaments, like I said, I'm always keeping an eye out for. If I get time away from work, me and my fishing buddy Max, we'll try and usually arrange to, go meet out on the water and see if we can rip a few lips and enjoy the time out.
That's awesome, man. Well, guys, this is really all I have. I wanted to make sure it was a little more focused this year. I only invited you two guys. That's a lie. I invited Swamp Rat, and he's out playing Hasselhoff or doing something. I don't know what he's doing. He's got a bikini on. I don't know, Speedos, whatever they do out in the Coast Guard. But thank you guys for being on. Any last words, Brandon? I know you mentioned Fallen Outdoors. Is there anybody else you want to mention? Your Instagram site, any veterans organizations, anything before we go?
No, other than, kind of being in the Army and in the service, you kind of surround yourself with a lot of vets. Fishing is I think a vet heavy pastime. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Like we had talked about earlier with the therapeuticness of the sport and how it provides people some outlets from frustrations. But if there's any veterans listening, if there's anybody who has any questions about or thinking about joining, if they need some guidance or mentorship, if they have, they just want to shoot the proverbial stuff and talk about their service. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and we've kind of talked veteran to veteran, but I'm always available, and just hit me up in the DMs, and the Instagram handle is dustoff_fishing. So you can find me there.
Awesome. Thank you. Albert, last word?
No, but definitely, Brandon, I'm definitely going to be looking to add you to Instagram as well. Again,
same, buddy.
Thank you for, continuing your service, and definitely I'll be looking into that, into those Instagram pages as well, or those programs that you had mentioned.
Awesome, man.
I definitely would like to get more information on as well. And if anybody out there listening is curious as to how I avoided setting foot on a ship in the Navy, just look up Navy Seabees. We're actually recognized more throughout the Marine Corps than the actual Navy. At least the time that I was in, anyway. It might have changed.
So can I comment on the Seabees real quick? And I'll just say, sure. I was deployed to a place that you can't talk about, but some of my favorite people were Seabees, and here's why. When you get someplace that is in the middle of nowhere, the Seabee is your best friend, because they are by far, hands down, the best at building, helping, fixing, shaping a fob or an area. And so we needed to set up a gym, and we built our gym out of wood and plywood and lumber and screws and all that stuff. And we had to get that someplace. And so what we ended up doing was we ended up bartering with the Seabees. We would fly to a different fob, and while we were there, we would pick up a bunch of pizzas and bring them back and give them to the Seabees, and then the Seabees would give us the supplies that we needed to build our gym. And so I'm eternally grateful. My body is eternally grateful for the Seabees.
That's what you call being deployed and bartering, for sure.
It's almost like prison, man. You know what I
mean? Yeah. Some of the places I went to were exactly like prison. I did not have to barter with the Navy with Italian foods, but it was a goal.
Yeah, don't tell my boss about that, but it's all good.
We used cigarettes and cards and, got crappy tattoos. Oh, no, that was jail. But guys, I can't thank you enough. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you both for your service. You guys know we communicate. I think both of us all three of us communicate semi-regularly. So I'll, of course, be in touch. If I'm in anybody's neck of the woods, I'm happy to go out. Brandon, if you happen to take another trip up into the Northwoods when I'm there and I have my vehicle, I might just, you might hear a horn blaring in the woods. Brandon, where are you? You'll hear that, man. Yeah, it's cool. And Albert, you're in Texas. I like Texas. Texas has been very good to me over the years. So at some point I'll get out. I don't know when, maybe when my kids are out of high school. I have no idea. I'll get out there. I do like to actually, you know what? There was a possibility of going to Texas within a year. So if I'm down that way and it is the San Antonio area, I will let you know. And then I'm going to tell you, hey, I don't have any gear with me, so I'm going to use all your stuff. Just like that.
Well, I hope you like Sixth Sense, because that's what about 90% of my tackle is.
Dude, listen, I know right when I get down there to start getting you pizzas, and I'll get anything I want.
I'm also with access to heavy equipment too, so if you need dirt move.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. But thank you guys very much for taking the time to come on. Again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. And I will talk to you both very soon.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you again for having me.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Definitely looking forward to shooting the breeze with you later on.
Nice to meet you, Albert. Thanks, buddy. Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. And thank you.
See you guys.
Sean, you did a great job with that segment right there. Always, always, always great to see you kind of go and kind of like, it's like a mother bird or a father bird watching their hatchlings take flight for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice. I've sat on you for 3 months already, and you're at the point where you're ready to leave the nest. You know what I'm saying?
Slightly less of a hack is what you're saying.
No,
that's good.
No, not at all. I think it came out really, really great. It was fantastic. And honestly, I'll tell you, like you said before, we did the one previously where we had 5 guests, 1 virtual, and everybody else, we were all outdoors. And, putting that together, you handled that like a champ. But I think having these guys be remote and do it virtually this way, I think we got even better audio. I think it was really, really great. Awesome. Am I allowed to mention the discovery, the almost the 6 degrees of separation that we found out between you and Albert?
I'll tell what it is.
You can leave out whatever details that you can. Yeah,
because
I get that.
Part of this that I try to cover, and anybody in the military will tell you is, if you're going to talk about military stuff with military people, you got to watch your operational security. You can't just start blabbing loose lips. Do in fact sink ships. So we had an off-air conversation about some of the places we had been to, and it turns out that Albert and I were probably at the same base at the same time deployed. I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 years ago, 18 years ago, 19 years, something like that.
Isn't it crazy? It's just such a small world. Like, it really is.
Well, you were there?
Very cool.
He said, yeah. And I said, when? And he told me, and I said, well,
son
of a bitch. I was too for limited amount of time, but it was just kind of neat.
So you have to imagine this, and this is what really that sort of moment that in my brain is that that there was like a locker door or a file cabinet, even a folder, something, even a piece of paper, something that maybe came across Albert's eyes that had an official Sean the Fisherman penis drawn on it. Potentially.
Oh,
maybe a napkin.
I don't think I drew that. No, I think we kept anything. I think it was mainly kept to any of my tent mates if they had some sort of artwork on their little door. We all had a piece of plywood with a piece of artwork on it that we damaged in one way or another, and I left everybody's alone until mine was crossed first, and then I found out who did it, and then I took care of it. But Albert was not in my tent.
So he never got the wrath. He never had a Sean the Fisherman waypoint map laid out.
Look, I still have the pictures of some of the artwork that I drew and was insulted with. Both, I took it, I gave it as well as I took it, and I remember taking pictures of that stuff. I still have it around. And when you're overseas and you're doing your job and it's high stress, sometimes you got to draw a wiener on a piece of cardboard in front of somebody's tent.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, though, we're back to our standard order. We've got just the tip coming up. You're not going to want to miss this, because this involves sponsorship, it involves advertising, it involves all these things. It's all about the money here. Like, what's it all mean? Trust me, guys, you're not going to want to miss this. This is really great. But we also have an amazing FTG for you. And what we have, one of our Hookset Hoodlums pro staffers, Rodney Swanson, had sent this puppy in for us. You're not going to want to miss this. This just had, like, you want to talk about late breaking stuff? This just happened this weekend, and I got a whole full breakdown that I'm going to be reading for you, and I think you're going to like it. I think you're really going to like it. Let's go ahead and take a short break, guys. We'll see you right after this. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce we're being supported by Old Glory Outdoors. They're a veteran-owned company that carries fishing and hunting gear. Plus, they're highly active in supporting veteran organizations and charities. Old Glory is an authorized dealer of favorite rods, FX rods, Guggen baits, X-Zone lures, Sixth Sense, and many more. There's a brick-and-mortar store located in East Brookfield, Massachusetts, but you can also order online at oldgloryoutdoors.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states, or order online and pick up at the store. When you order, use the promo code Jigs and Bigs, and you'll save 10% off your complete order. Plus, you'll help support the show. Make sure to check out the apparel line called OGO Gear while you're there. Old Glory Outdoors believes in the slogan, "Start 'em young," to keep kids away from screens and enjoying nature. They've got a full array of live bait too. Check out oldgloryoutdoors.com and use the promo code Jigs and Bigs. Save some money and gear up now.
Bobby and Sean now have a special presentation for us all. They'd like to give everyone just the tip.
Indeed. So, guys, this just the tip actually comes from it comes from reading a number of different posts on lots of Instagram stories over the last couple of weeks, really. And one of these really stuck out to me. It was sort of a play-by-play, a dialogue between a company looking for a sponsorship and also an angler, somebody who was either content creator or or tournament fisherman or a budding, whatever the platform was something they were looking for sponsorship for, and it basically the dialogue was like, hey, I've achieved this, I've done this, I've got these accolades lined up, and the basically the company's response was, are you on YouTube? And then they're like, not just yet. I'm working on a few things, such and such. I haven't launched it because it's not ready. Blah 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 blah. And then it was, but remember, I did this, and I've this is my resume. I've done boom 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 these things, and it was just like, yeah, but are you actually on YouTube at all? And that was like they were kind of stuck there, and there was a lot of frustration on actually every story I've ever seen, no matter what. This is a very frustrating situation. And to that, I have to say this. You got to follow the money. You got to follow the money. And I don't mean like you have to sell your soul and do whatever. Like, you got to be you, and it's the best way to get success is to be organic, but you have to understand that when you're looking for sponsorship, you gotta know what's the trade-off. A company doesn't want to just sponsor somebody who has a resume of maybe it's tournament wins, or maybe it's I don't know, maybe they make like custom rods or something like that, or they're a well-known, I mean, I don't even want to say like well-known because it kind of plays into that, but maybe they're a budding content creator and they're looking for something specific. These companies that sponsor anybody out there, the ones that really sponsor it, what these things are, these pro staffs are, it's all about promotion. In tournament angling is a good example. Back in the day, you didn't have the social platforms where any fisherman of any stripe any angler could be out there representing a company and have a media platform. There were, I call them gatekeepers. You wouldn't have just any fisherman on television. You know, you would have, and lots of times before they would get to television, they would need a tournament background or something like that. But at the end of the day, you got to look at who is the customer of these of these companies. Is it about tournament angling? Is it about just going out on the weekend with your buddies? Who is there more of? You know, is there a larger audience of people that are going to buy, you know, I'll use Stretching Lines as the example, just because I want to plug Damien's gear as much as, but keep in mind, I'm just using his company name as the blanket sort of like name, you know, think of it as Company X. Let's say I'm a tournament angler. And I approach Damien at Stretching Lines and I say, hey, I'm interested in a sponsorship, man. I need to, you know, I need to have income coming in to help with the expenses of doing what I do. And I've got this is my resume of what I've accomplished. This is where I've come, you know, in this amount of time. This is where I'm, the trajectory looks as far as where I look to see myself in the next 5 to 10 years. You know, this is what the goal is. And his response is, do you have, you know, an Instagram following? Do you have anything on social media? Something along those lines. A company that creates baits, a company that creates gear, a boat company, an outboard company, whatever that company does, at the end of the day, they need to sell units. And they need to sell units to whoever's going to buy them. You know, it's not necessarily that it's just in the focus of tournament, you know, angling consumers, you know, of that type of content. It's also folks that just go out, you know, on the weekend and bullshit with their friends out by the lake, or maybe they only fish 3 or 4 times, but they go out and they gear up like they're going out 4 or 5 times a day or 4 or 5 times a week. So you got to look at the money, and we live in this odd sort of time where the gatekeepers aren't there the way that they were. Yes, regarding television, you're not just going to get a show on TV. Like there's that stuff is still there, but there's different platforms that are even more engaging than traditional media platforms like radio and television. So you take something like YouTube, and you take Instagram, you take TikTok, whatever it might be. If you have a platform there and you have a following, and it doesn't have to be a huge following. It just has to be a growing following, something that you're kind of starting off with. If a company sees that, then that lets them know that there are people that are interested in what you're doing. If you're relying on, you know, if I'm relying on my performance in tournaments or anything like that in order to get sponsors, I'm really relying on how does that platform that we're on, whether it's on television or whether it's on, you know, just listings and websites and things like that. I'm really kind of hoping that the folks that have a vested interest to go and look for that are looking for that. And that starts to narrow down the field of who they're advertising to. It starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So when a company says to you, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have this? Do you have such and such? The correct answer is always yes. And you need to be doing that stuff in the beginning, even if you don't jump head first right into it. You need to have the things in order, your brand, so that you can continue to grow, you know, so that you can continue to put some effort in, because it's one thing to have somebody make a investment in you when it's not actual dollars. You know, oh, well, we'll give you a 10% off, you know, promo code to use. You know, you'll be listed on our staff. This is what you get. But if somebody's actually going to hand over money or even product, you know, something along those lines, you've got to have a little something that they can grow on. So my real advice to you is this. I don't want to make it sound like I'm you know, like I don't want you to think that I'm on the side of the companies out there handing out sponsorships, because they're not handing them out. They expect something to come back, and what they expect to come back are sales. If you're expecting somebody to sponsor you with actual cash and actually make an investment in you, what you need to do is not wait for the perfect opportunity to start your YouTube channel. Not wait for the perfect platform or wait for, any of this stuff. You've just got to start working what you've got and create some growth, and just be tenacious, put your catches out there. You want to engage your followers. So whatever that means, if you're going to have a conversation about something related to what you're doing, express your frustrations with the sponsorship situation. If that's the case, this is your platform. You own that platform. That's the beauty of it. But start today instead of waiting until who knows when all the stars align just right and you can get started. The same thing could be said, and I love using the example of YouTube, because a lot of folks, and I've seen this a million times, and I think we've actually talked about this, Sean, before, where you need to just do it. Like, I forget who it was. I think it might have been Gary Vee who had said, your first podcast, your first Instagram post, your first YouTube video, your first TikTok, your first everything is going to suck. It is 100% going to suck, but you're never going to get to a 50th if you don't start with that one. You just got to get out there and do it. And I think, Sean, really, you could say the same thing for tournament angling, really. Like your first go round is probably going to suck balls. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like if you land in the money, something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's always a million factors, but chances are, if you're fishing with, generally everybody's first tournament experience is a miserable thing, because you don't know what kind of caliber angler are out there until you are face to face with them.
And I think the lesson for all this is that it's like a sieve. You know what I mean? And it's the stuff that sticks with it, that doesn't pass through and just say, I'm done, I'm out, and move on to the next thing. It's the stuff that sticks with it that gets attention. And it is tedious and it sucks. I'm going to use our show as an example. Sean, just before we started rolling today, said this episode we're putting together is episode number 88. That means for 88 straight weeks, because we've never missed a week, we have been putting together a show that goes anywhere from 60 minutes to over 3 hours in some cases. We've had a guest for the vast majority of all of these episodes. We're actually not making a dime doing this. And I think you guys need to understand that. Like, we don't make any real money doing this. Everything that we've made that's come in through, our the partnerships that we have now, we dump right back into the show. It's just to keep it basically alive. Like that's the whole thing. So you got to look at when somebody says, yeah, but do you have a YouTube channel? Or how many followers do you have on Instagram? Something like that. It's not so much that they're like, are you Martin Scorsese on YouTube? Are you providing, these amazing videos that are you going to take me on a journey and reinvent the wheel? All they want to really know is that you're on a platform, you're building an audience, and that there's something that can grow, and that's the thing. Just having the platform isn't, I'm not saying that's enough. You've got to kind of grow it. And does it suck? Is it a pain in the ass? Yes, but you just got to be yourself, and that's the beauty of it. Like, I love using my business as an example, as hosting like game shows and trivia. There are, just this week actually, the parent company who creates a software that I use released an email with some numbers of the amount of hosts around the globe using this software there are. And I try to tell everybody that I talk to, at least the upstarts that are in the US, you just got to be yourself. You just got to own whatever it is that you do and get comfortable doing that, because you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You might not get every single follower that's possibly out there. What you're going to do is develop an audience. And I'll tell you this much as well. If you have a small following, but they're highly engaged and they're actually paying attention to the things that you're posting and the things that you're sharing, and they're going back and forth, that carries a lot of weight. So try not to get frustrated when you're looking for a company to make an investment in you and they ask you for some things that maybe you think don't apply. They really do apply. They really do apply overall, because again, you're asking somebody to make an investment in you, and you're asking for somebody to put their stamp of approval or their brand, their logo, literally their name up against yours. They need to see some kind of a return. And that's the tricky part. So I'm going to get off of my high horse here. Sean, do you have anything that you want to jump on? Anything? Did I miss anything?
No, I just want to add, like, when you say you've got to be yourself and you've got to get out there and it does suck and it's hard work. I mean, watching what you do on social media every day. And right now, I mean, you've seen the past like week or two, I've been in a social media rut. I haven't done shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's been really, really hard other than, I'll always, anytime someone tags me in something, I always reshare it. Always. I always make it part of my story.
Yep. Someone
is inviting me to they're giving content. Just like I tag people in my shit, I'm giving them content. But I haven't put up anything original the past weeks. It's 2 weeks. It's been a grind for me. But you, every fucking day, you do it. Now, when it comes to the show, and this is episode 88, I had a conversation with a relative I was telling you before we started recording. And he and I were talking about YouTube because he does a few things for his business on YouTube. And I said, yeah, we would love to do some things with YouTube, but we have to make sure it's very measured, because the primary thing that you and I focus on, because of me and you just having a blast doing this, but the quality of audio that you bring to the table, the minute you start doing anything on YouTube, editing video is just a bitch. I complained about it a couple shows ago, I think, right? Within the past month, we were talking about that. But it's another layer. It's another God knows how, pile of work that unfortunately you and I still have to consider this a hobby.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though we're doing this every week, we are having fun and we're having laughs.
Exactly.
With the hope that this could become something bigger. But I don't know. I think I don't know where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
Where
I mean, I understand that, like, I've seen, I don't even want to throw this dude's name out there, but I've seen a bunch of videos, not just from one individual, but a lot of tournament anglers. And when I say tournament anglers, I'm not talking about like local kayak trails or anything like that. I'm talking about big boat elite level anglers that have gone and gotten kind of critical about the way that, financially, bass fishing, on a professional level, on a big scale, like how it's just kind of a mess. The payouts haven't changed, and you're always going to have people that are going to complain that they're not receiving enough or what it might be. And I know that there are valid points to be made there, but when you bring it down to the smaller level, and you're looking at, when you're looking at creating content, and let's be honest, when it comes to creating content, if you're a tournament angler, the content creation is secondary, but it has to be secondary. It can't be that, the tournament angling is A, and the content creation is Z, because there's a huge disconnect between those two things. So it's just about finding the way that works well for you. It might not be perfect. I mean, your videos might not be amazing, but there's small tools, and it doesn't mean they have to be huge either. Like, you don't have to put together 8 hours of fishing in a day and then put it, edit it down to like 20 minutes of actual like usable stuff. Nobody's necessarily expecting that. But if you could do a video a week, or post something, even if it was just reviewing like your mindset, that could be the simplest thing. Obviously, what I'm really getting at is that because of the way we have now these platforms that allow folks to make content and have that content be sponsored by individual companies, you're never going to see content creators just disappear and not provide an opportunity to sell a product, if they're being compensated for, that specific post or that specific video or whatever it might be. You're never going to see that go away. But there is 100% value in the worlds colliding between content creation and tournament angling. That's where you get the best of the best. And if you're a great tournament angler, grab your phone, and just record a couple of videos and upload them right to YouTube, or just recap your last tournament. Even if that's all that you would do, at least then you could show that you've got an audience, because now you're not waiting on getting on television during the weigh-in or something along that line, or maybe an interview, a soundbite running on somebody's, highlight reel or something like that. You're creating that for yourself, So if I'm like, oh, Bobby roast beef, this is how, my last tournament, I'm going to use a great example. Okay. And I really shouldn't do this, but I'm throwing myself on the block for you guys. So there are a couple of elite kayak fishing events that I have a big interest in fishing. One of them is just right here in my backyard. It's the one on the Connecticut River. I am 100% entering this tournament. And I'm not entering this tournament because I think I have a ice cube's chance in hell at even placing in the money. I'm doing this strictly for the experience. But also, the experience is going to lead to content. So then I can take a critical look at my experience while I was out there. I can probably capture some stuff while I'm there quickly and easily using minimalistic amounts of equipment. And then what I'll do is when I have the window of time after everything's all said and done, I'll take a few hours and I'll put that footage together and create something, And Sean and I had talked about doing stuff on YouTube with this show, but instead of having it run simultaneously, like doing it as a live stream that is then a podcast afterwards, we want to take it as a podcast first, take that audio, and then do something special with it on unique visual platform later after the fact. So I hope this at least helps that, like, understand that, like, when you talk to a company and they say, like, hey, so where are you on social media? It's not a brush off. It's because they just need to know that they're reaching an audience, and you control that audience. That's the nice part about this.
And one of the things I want to jump in too, when you mentioned the gatekeepers. So when you say that, this is what I think of. Back when we were growing up, and I know this is dating us, but how did companies sell lures? Or how did companies sell fishing gear?
Yep.
There were commercials on, I'm just going to name a few. There was Fishing with Roland Martin.
Yep.
There was Bill Dance's show. Mm-hmm. And the Lindners.
Yep.
Those are the three big ones that I will always remember. And then BASS was not even, in the late 80s, early 90s, when did BASS become part of ESPN? Like the late 90s, right? It was like 98, 99. That's when BASS was showcased on ESPN.
Yeah.
But before that, it wasn't. It was, you were watching it on, like, if you had TNT in the early cable systems, or if you had TBS, or if you had TNN, the national network, remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was relegated. It wasn't even a mainstream thing for us out in the Northeast. The only other way outside of early cable was magazines.
Yeah.
So you would get, Field and Stream, Outdoor Life, remember this one, the North American Fishing Club.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. That's where you saw that. And now
in Fisherman.
Yeah, in Fisherman, another great one. And those tournament anglers could then sell, recaps, or hey, somebody would be they didn't have to write it. All they have to do is tell an author, okay, so I was out at Pickwick and I used, I used a chatterbait with a scorpion trailer.
There you go. Yeah. Who could possibly? Yeah.
Something like that. That's how those things were sold. And then you'd see the occasional odd commercial that they were in, or in some other cases, an infomercial selling a specialized lure. But when did you first hear the term cutting the cord? I think I was in the early 2000s, and then I cut the cord personally. We haven't had full cable in my house in 15 years. It's just, it's not worth it. The content's not there. It's just too expensive.
Yeah. And, when I say gatekeepers, it's like, what I'm thinking is, like, you can't go as, like, there's a perfect example, Sean, as the Western Division MAKB tournament director. Okay. You couldn't go into WWLP TV 22 and say, I got something to fucking say.
Oh, I would.
You would be escorted away.
Probably because I'd be pantsless when I did it.
Oh, well, you'd have to be. Sonia Baghdadi's no longer there. It's not worth it. But the reason why I bring that up is that, like, you can't necessarily do that. But you know what? If you've got, a couple thousand followers on Instagram, you can go in and say, hey, I've got something to say about this. And now you've got an audience. Like, that's what I mean. It's not so much that it's the sponsors, or not. I don't want to say even the sponsors. It's not the companies you're looking for sponsoring you being difficult about it. It's just that they realize the media format is changing. That's what it is. You know, they can reach so many more people on a YouTube channel than they can if they're advertising on something like ESPN, because, you know, who knows if that audience is paying attention at that time. You know what I mean? If they're, you know, it's like, and you got 30 seconds and it's done. 60 seconds and it's done. It's gone. But with something like YouTube, you have people that are, you know, watching something and then engaging with it with likes or dislikes, or I heard they're getting rid of dislikes, which is weird, but they're able to like it. They're able to comment. And the creator has the opportunity to take information from that and then follow up on on another video if need be. And if these sponsors are featured in some of these videos, or even the person they're sponsoring is, you know, wearing their t-shirt or something in the recording of that video, that's more eyes. That's more bait sold. That's more rods sold. That's more yards of line sold. And that's what these companies need to do. They have to stay, you know, I mean, there isn't a bait maker out there that's doing this and not expecting to make a living. You know, like, it's business. It is business. That's why it's the fishing industry. You know, it's one of those things. So we're in this very odd time where the media platforms are changing. We have a lot more control than we ever really did if you really kind of pay attention to it. And podcasting, I think, is the most amazing thing, because, Sean, you know as well as I do, this show would never exist on terrestrial radio.
Never, ever, never.
Never.
I mean, you know, just on that note, you know, when it first popped up, satellite radio was kind of a joke, and all you really had was a bunch of DJs that were no names, and I'm saying some of them definitely stepped up. Yeah. But really, when Howard Stern made that move in 2005,
it solidified that platform.
Yeah, it really did.
Yep.
It really, really, really did. And you could that was the start of, you know, because podcasts weren't really popular, if they were even around at all at that point.
Yep.
I don't think they were, right?
2005, it was very early at that point.
Yeah, YouTube really started getting popular, 2010-ish, give or take?
A little bit earlier than that. Yeah, a little bit earlier than that.
And YouTube has restrictions too, but we don't. We can say whatever the fuck we want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's that element to it, but now it's like, you know, the technology. Like, you can literally be with one of these. You can be in somebody's pocket, right next to their money, and
the roll of certs,
and that autographed shirtless picture from Tim Jacks. Now it's autographed. How did it get autographed?
I don't know. Autographed or stained.
So I hope this didn't rub anybody the wrong way. You know, Tim certainly doesn't want to, neither do I. I'm such an a-hole.
Tim catching a lot of shrapnel out of nowhere.
He is.
He was not on the notes to talk about this week.
No, he was not. Fuck? But yet here we are in abundance. Yep. But I genuinely don't want to discourage anybody. If anything at all, I'm hoping to inspire you guys that are out there looking to do this, like, on a career level. Like, realize, like, your brand, social media is every single year that goes by, it gets to be that much more important. As much as you might not like it, like, it's the way people consume content. It's no longer just the big three networks anymore. It's no longer that big glass tube in your house. You know, there's so much more going on. That's enough for just the Tim. I feel like we've exhausted.
It's no longer a shirtless Tim Jackson.
It's true. It is no longer. Are you ready for this, Sean?
I know you're going to be reading it to me.
Yep.
So I'm all ears. Hit me with some funny shit.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
All Alrighty, guys. So this week's Fuck That Guy. This is what's so cool about this is that it's not even a fishing story. It really isn't. This has to do with deer hunting, and it's late breaking. Our good friend Rodney, you might know him on Instagram as r.r.outdoors. He shares this story that he had experienced firsthand just this weekend. So here we go. All right, it's the FTG hunting story. This weekend apparently was firearms opening weekend in Indiana, and a coworker and Rodney they hunt their boss's farm. It's a small 400-acre farm with about 40 acres of woods. There's no state records out of there, but it's solid deer every single year. And this year has been a slow one with only one big guy showing up on camera so far. Rodney was up early Saturday morning to get on the tree stand for 5:45, and by 6:30 he sees a little 4-year-old 3-point dummy that they apparently named Turi, which I don't know if that's a reference to the meme, the poor dude in the wheelchair with the fireworks in front of him and the guy's going, back up Turi. I don't know. But if it is, that's great. He says he finds out at about 9 that the coworker decided to hunt a different property that was about 10 miles away, leaving Rodney to be the only one in the woods. At about 10, he decided to climb down and do some old-fashioned spot and stalk, walked about 300 yards, and he sees a doe alone in the field. Since everything was on his back, he squats down and he waits for her to move off. As she moved off, he got tighter to the tree line, came around the corner, and sees her there standing with 2 bucks. One of those bucks was Turi. The other, he couldn't identify, but could tell it was definitely a big boy. Being a responsible hunter, he decided that the shot was too long, and then he decided to wait for them to move off so he could get a little bit closer. As he crossed into the field to get into another blind, he sees his coworker driving through the farm. Remember this. He's not hunting there that morning. He was 10 miles away at another place. As he gets to the road, he slows to a stop and then texts Rodney that in the field across the road, that should be noted is not the property, not their property they should be hunting, that there's 2 bucks running a doe and one of them is definitely a shooter. Rodney responds, he says, I tell him that I'm going to set up tight and hopefully that they won't go into the woods on that property. As soon as he hits send on the text, he hears a bang. The 3 deer go full speed towards the woods, and I'm instantly a nervous wreck, knowing that they won't make it through the woods. The coworker texts back and tells him that he took a bad, quick shot from his truck. At this point, Rodney is fuming mad. Not only did he bust up his own hunt by driving through the farm, but he shot from his truck at a deer that's not even on their property. About 5 minutes later, he hears a single bang from the neighbor's woods, knowing that it was the big shooter. I text him and say, hey, the guy in the white Dodge really wants to, really thanks you for that. His coworker replies with, weak, LOL. Rodney climbs down out of the blind and says, F this, F that, all the way back to the truck. And as he goes back about the last 50 yards or so to the truck, the DNR slowly rolls by, goes up a block, then turns around to come visit him. Doing his job, he checks Rodney's license, tells him to be safe, blah, 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 the whole routine. And after Rodney enjoys a long-awaited smoke, he drives around the block to see the white Dodge dragging the shooter from the woods. And this is Rodney's take on it all, is this. Hunting, fishing, or any other outdoor sport, don't be like this guy. Actually, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
So his coworker is the problem. Is that what I'm getting at?
Yeah, that is what we're getting at here. Yep, that's it. And Loaded Potato jumps in. He says, never going to hunt with that guy again.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. I agree with you, Rodney. That sucks.
Oh yeah, man. Like when is it cool to do a drive-by on a buck? You know what I mean? Like, and I get like, when you're when you're hunting private property, like I've never hunted private property. I don't know. I can only assume like it's like the friggin' Wild West and maybe some shit doesn't get talked about. But it's like every possible thing that could have gone wrong there went wrong. Starting with just driving through and blowing up the hunt.
Well, I hope Rodney's listening to this at work and his coworkers near him within earshot, because Rodney, your coworker's a real piece of shit.
He is a piece of shit. That sucks, man.
Yeah, sorry,
that
man.
really, really, really does suck. Yikes.
Balls.
Yeah, balls indeed. Balls indeed. All right, let's see. What else do we have going on with this bad boy? Tournament stuff, it's November, guys. There's not a whole lot going on right now. We will have some info after the holidays pass and everything on a Chronic Trips 60-day little stint that's going to be going on, so you guys might want to jump in on that. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting to mention?
No, we've been talking for an hour and a half, dude.
We have been, and it has been... It's been delightful so far.
Fruitful.
Very fruitful. Guys, let's go ahead and take a quick break right here. When we get back, we have the one and only Delirious Angler. He's not been on the show once, not been on the show twice, but now 3 times. And this time around, he's talking about the Maniyak Mod Shop. If you're not already following Maniyak Mod Shop, go ahead and do so right now. Trust me, you're going to want to do this. I also want to, before we do toss the break right here, I want to throw a big shout out to George Costa, former guest on the show. He hooked into an absolute behemoth of a striper. When he was out fishing for largies, happened to come on some brackish water and hooked into an absolute giant. I shared a link from his, I shared a video from his TikTok earlier this week. And I mean, congrats, man. That was his first striper ever. Like you can't, did you see that thing?
I didn't. No, how long was it?
Let me take a look. Let me get the numbers for sure. It was a biggin. It was a biggin. Good stuff. Oh, I got a message from Rodney right now. He says he is listening. He goes, YouTube won't let me comment for some reason, but I've heard the radio voice thing for years. Appreciate that though, brother. Oh, I mean it, man. Us dudes with that broadcast, that golden broadcast voice. It's like we got to stick together.
Hey, some of us don't have that golden broadcast voice, so we have to do what we've got to do. Well, I'm going to light my dick on fire and spit on it.
By the way, when my kids and I listen to that show, because yes, I'm a terrible parent, and I do let my kids listen to Jigs and Bigs. They were like, "What is wrong with you guys?" I'm going to sit on a tack. I've been saying that all week. All week.
Well, you know what I noticed?
Oh my God.
Somehow, over the course of that episode, I slowly went from mocking the morning DJ, goofball DJ, zany goofball DJ, to Will Ferrell's Harry Carey impersonation. I don't know how that happened. It's
so good, though. I love it. I love Ferrell's freaking impression of Harry Carey. It's so good. I have something that I'm going to tease for the next segment. After this interview, I have a t-shirt idea that I think would be awesome, and I think you're going to love it because it kind of involves our new love affair of Instagram Reels.
I was going to talk about that too. We got.
We'll do that in the next segment. Yeah, next segment, guys. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this. Don't go too far. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce that we're being supported by Three Bells Outfitters. Located in Smith Cove on the Niantic River, TBO is Connecticut's premier paddle sports retailer. They're a full-service shop specializing in kayaks and paddleboards for everything from recreation to tournament fishing. Three Bells is an authorized dealer of Hobie, Jackson, Feel Free, Native, and Bonafide kayaks, as well as many paddleboard brands. Not sure of what kind of SUP or kayak you want? TBO offers free demos of all brands. Want to go for an extended test drive? They have a full-service rental facility on site. Three Bells also offers a complete rigging service for your kayak with such brands as Yak Attack, Yak Gear, Burley Pro, Yak Power, Torpedo, and more. The sky is the limit. You can visit Three Bells Outfitters in person or online at threebellsoutfitters.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. Can't make it to the store to pick up your kayak or worried the freight company might damage your purchase? Three Bells Outfitters offers a white glove delivery of kayaks within a 225-mile radius of their store at a rate less than typical freight carriers. They will deliver your kayak, set it up, and answer any questions you may have. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to tell them Jigs and Bigs sent you. Three Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. 3 Bells Outfitters Alrighty, guys. Bobby Roast Beef back here. It's more Jigs and Bigs, good stuff. And in the beef seat today, we have an unconventional conventional interview. It's a guest that we've had on more than any other guest in the past. We've got Delirious Angler on with us. But Delirious isn't going to be talking about, the dark corners of his mind and, the type of insanity that goes in there. No, this is going to be a discussion about a different type of insanity. This is insanity that happens in his workshop. And it's got to do with a brand new sort of, I don't even want to say project, but a brand new venture that he has up and running, Maniyak Mod Shop. And you're going to love this. This is amazing. D, how you doing, buddy? How's things?
I'm good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. We re-upped our coffee stash here at the house, and we're trying some new stuff. And it's hitting all the right notes. So I'm feeling pretty good.
So it's adding a little tickle to your pantalones.
Yes, it is. It's providing just the right tickle to the pickle, if you know what I'm saying. We're at this weird time of year right now where in the Northeast and in New England, where, a huge amount of the bass fishing crowd has kind of put the rods down and, some of them are out in tree stands right now doing some deer hunting and all that stuff. And that's cool. Some other folks are just kind of like, they're not biting. I'm out. Now, I'm still out there slugging away at it, trying to make it happen. It's all bank sends from here on until we get ice. So, the kayak is done for the season for now. I know you're kind of in the same boat too. You've got your boats already packed up, and you're kind of all back doing your thing regularly, right? Yeah.
Both kayaks were stripped apart, fully cleaned, and then re-put back together, then waxed, and then covered.
I got to get on that. I have some new tarps that I got to cover some things with, but I have to get the kayak out today. I'm recording, putting a video together for Torque Strap, so that we can check out and see how their product works. I'm replacing the ratchet straps that I have been using with what, by all accounts, everything that I looked on, this is going to be a far superior product as far as safety, tension, security, all of this stuff all wrapped into one. So really excited to see how this kind of plays out. So I'll be recording that later on this afternoon once things warm up.
What are they for, like strapping your kayak down type deal?
Yeah. So it's like,
really?
I don't want to say it. The only word that I have for it is like a ratchet strap, but you've seen the straps that I used on my kayak before, right? Yep. You just pull them tight, and there's basically like
they have like teeth on them to hold them in place.
Exactly.
That's what I use.
The thing is with Torque Strap that makes it so unique is that it's got right on the end where that fastener is that kind of holds it all together. We put the two hooks together. There's about a 2 or 3 inch piece of fabric that's wrapped up, and I'm not 100% sure what's under that. If it is in fact bungee, or if it's chain, or if it's a spring, or what it is. But basically, there's a little bit of movement in there. So what's great is you can get a good tight fit. But like we were speaking with Derek over at Three Bells Outfitters, he's like, the thing is with ratchet straps, and I know this drove him nuts because I was using ratchet straps on the kayak. He goes, the problem is with ratchet straps is that sometimes there's no in between, and when you crank down too hard on them, depending on the on how tight it is, you can actually damage the hull. And, that's when you're talking about making this kind of an investment in that level of a boat, that is not something you want to do. Same thing with like putting a keel guard on and shit like that. These are all preemptive measures to sort of keep the life of your boat ongoing. So that's what I've got lined up today. But while we're talking about the trailer, yes. This is like, when I refer to my trailer guy, this is who I'm talking about. This trailer is being built and assembled at Maniyak Mod Shop. And I love that this is what's happening. And actually we've got a great plan. I mean, we really do. We actually have a plan in action. After I shoot all this stuff, I think what I'm going to do is pencil in some time, and I'm going to wrap up the kayak, and then we'll get the trailer down to you, and we'll schedule some time to go and hammer out some stuff and get some things put together and start building.
I mean, even if you just got to drop the trailer off for time being,
I could always do that. I could always do that because that's the thing. It's not going to be going anywhere.
No.
Yeah, everything. It's not going to be doing anything all winter. So yeah, that would work out great for me. It's so funny, man. I actually took the thing out, and I haven't had a functioning backup camera in my vehicle in like about a year. It's like, the one in the Ford, it just started to go. And it was one of those things where I was like, I'm going to be replacing this in a while. I'm not going to fix it. And I've been driving for a long, long, long time. So I'll just use the mirrors and turn around. I was backing in the trailer for the first time. This is when I guess it's when I dropped the kayak off at Three Bells for that rudder and steering upgrade. Okay. And when I came back up, I went to go back the trailer, but without the kayak in the 4Runner, I can't see that trailer whatsoever. This is part of the reason why I'm so excited about the modifications, because it's going to have an upper level. I'll be able to see it with no problem.
Yep.
I went to go back up, and I'm like, no problem. I got the backup cam. I'm good to go. It's almost as if like I had 5 shots of 151 and tried to do this. Why is it so difficult to use the backup camera versus then I turn around and I'm good to go. I'm like, all right, we're good. The problem is when I can't see it, I have to rely on the backup cam, Yeah. And it took me a laughable amount of time. So there was a day where I didn't have anything going on. I put the trailer on the truck and I brought it out to a big abandoned mini mall parking lot. Yep. And I just tried putting it in the lines here and there. Then once I got the kayak back on, which is later that day, and I saw, again, I could see the top of the seat, just the very top of the seat. If it was in the up position, if it was down, forget it. I go over and I'm looking at it and I'm like, backed it in, no problem. First shot. I was like, okay, so just turn around. We'll work on that,
Yep.
But so tell me about that. You've got a lot of experience here, and you've also got, I don't know that if anybody's listening to your first interview, you used to do a lot with like vehicle modifications, like,
with automotive interiors.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. And the two worlds go hand in hand. So it's not like you're doing this and you're coming into it like, I want to modify kayaks. You have a background in this, and like the quality of your work, it all shows in your gear. But then if you look at some of the mods that you've done for other folks too, it's at a high freaking level, man. That's why I'm so amped up for you. Yeah, like seriously, if you guys are looking to modify your kayak, a small boat, if you're doing a trailer modification, something like that. This is your guy right here. Absolutely. So give me a little bit of background of like how did you get, like, where did this all kind of come from, and like walk me through it a little bit.
With the kayaks or everything?
I would say all of it all together. Like, kind of walk me through how it all sort of came together. Obviously, like, you started fishing in kayaks and things, and I'm sure it kind of drifted into that. But as far as like, have you always been so mechanically inclined?
I'd say pretty much, yes. Like, I love working with my hands no matter what. When I was growing up, my dad would have issues with his vehicles.
Yep.
And like, money's tight, so he can't get it to a shop and get charged like $1,000 just to fix, a stupid bolt.
Yep.
So I'd get the old Haynes mechanic books.
Oh, I remember those.
They were literally, is a breakdown of your vehicle, how to fix everything.
Yep.
And I'd get it, and I started practicing on his vehicles when everything was broken. So, like, radiator changes I would do, brakes I would do. So then it evolved from working on cars to, working on lawnmowers when they need repairs or tune-ups.
Yep.
And then I was in the car show scene in, let's say, 2008. Maybe 2000. Right. Yeah, like 2008. Well, after that, I wanted a different type of interior for my truck, so I sat down on Google Forms and YouTube when it was more, informal rather than clout chasing.
Sure.
Learning how to fiberglass, and then I just got bored one day and said, "Screw it! I'm gonna." I watched hours of videos on fiberglassing and speaker installs and video installs, and let me actually do it with my vehicle. And then next thing you know, I'm creating these fiberglass pieces out of nothing. I'm learning how to mend fiberglass to plastic, which is actually total opposite, so they don't attract.
Oh.
To get fiberglass to stick on the plastic, you have to drill holes into the plastic and then sandwich the fiberglass together to create a hole.
Gotcha.
So I learned how to do that by experimenting because no one really covered it. I experimented with how to do that. And the next thing you know, I'm able to fiberglass plastic to a solid piece, or like door panels, dashboards, and then went from there to installing a 10-inch TV into my bezel on my truck.
That's
some
custom shit.
Yeah, like right where your radio goes and your heat module for your controls went, there was a 10-inch TV sitting there. The radio was moved to under the dash.
Yep.
Where it's still seen, and then my heat control unit was actually rewired and routed to my door panel.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, my whole interior of the truck was different, and then lowered the suspension, all that. So mechanic wise, interior wise, and everything, I did good with that. And then head-on collision kind of changed the path of that stuff.
Oh yeah, well, and yeah, that'll happen. That'll for sure happen.
Oh yeah. So, but now I still dabble with mechanic work. I do all the work on my own vehicle, on friends' vehicles when they need it.
Yep.
And then, I mean, the kayak industry is it's an amazing one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like all these brands with all their products and stuff. So,
oh yeah.
When I got my first kayak, there was no rod holders on it. There was nothing on it. But it was a fishing kayak.
Yep.
But, at that time when I got it, not many kayaks were fitted with, your rod holders.
Oh, yeah.
With your kayak anchor holders and stuff like that. So my first kayak was like my Frankenstein.
Yep.
I just experimented with what I can do and can't do properly.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time went on, products became multiple brands where you can either get the very best, I'd say the top company where their products are like a certain price, where you can go on Amazon and get the exact same thing with a non-brand company at a budget price.
Yeah, because you don't have that name brand and all the overhead that comes with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I like being hands-on, man. Like I can watch a video on how to do something, and 5 minutes later, I can do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and you make a good point there. Like specifically about the kayaks. Like fishing kayaks are sort of like I would say that they're relatively new in the recreational equipment sort of world. When people are buying a kayak, it used to be that's why a lot of people still have that vision of like a typical like paddling kayak where you sit in and you've got the flap that surrounds you and it's super skinny and I can't get into a kayak because I'll have to roll it over and I don't think I could roll myself back up. It's like these are the quote unquote fishing kayak really sort of changed the scene overall because it set itself up. But these kayak manufacturers, they're not idiots. Like they realize that everybody's going to have different needs. Like I truly believe you're never going to find a kayak that is perfect right out of the box.
No.
It's like, sure, they're going to have some rod holders, but they're not going to put rod holders all over the place because they don't know how you're going to do it. So they're going to use things like gear track and all these other accessories so that you can make it as custom as you want for how you fish, the type of gear that you're bringing out, what you need on the type of trips, and that can fluctuate between anglers and even within the same angler, depending on the trip, that might change multiple times. Like the setup that I use would be different than if I were out doing tournaments and I was looking for pure efficiency. All the time, it's crazy. So like they know this stuff, which is why you've got these other companies that can flourish doing, accessories for all this stuff. Like you've got your Yak Attack, you've got your Burley Pro, Boondocks, all these companies that create items just for this to kind of, make this all work. But there does take a little bit of skill to kind of make this stuff happen. When you're talking wiring, like you recently put some holes into Gravy Fishing's kayak. And
dude, I thought he was going to cry so bad.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. I mean, in the video that you posted of it, I thought the guy was going to have a breakdown. I was like, holy crap.
So the first hole I drilled in his kayak, he actually walked outside the shop.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
He walked out. I said, "Do you want to watch?" He goes, "No, I'm going to walk outside." I was like, "Okay, bye."
And we have to set the stage because the listeners probably don't realize that. I think it was like within that week he had bought that kayak. Like it was brand new.
It literally showed up. I forgot what day, but he only took it out on the water for 5 minutes. It only had 5 minutes of use time.
Wow. Yeah, that's
like
tough.
when I put on the video that drilling holes in a kayak with 5 minutes of use time, I was not exaggerating.
Not kidding, yeah.
He literally put it on the water to test it out, to fall in love with it, to pack it up, and then bring it over the next day.
But, I mean, in a lot of ways, that's how it works. It's like there are very few people I would trust modifying something that's supposed to keep me up and out of the water. Like when it comes to drilling holes, and you're one of them, man. I would 100%, trust exactly what you're doing. So Gravy is in great hands when it comes to all this stuff. As far as the beauty about all this, if somebody wants to get their gear modified, but whether it's just simply a time situation, because that's the biggest challenge is the time to be able to do this, and then the resources. Do you have the space to be able to get into this big project and customize a piece of gear that you have to make it work best for you, or do you even have the tools necessarily to make it happen? That's where you come in, because you're like, yeah, let's go ahead and make this happen. So are you thinking that do you have a goal for Maniyak Mod Shop? Do you want to take it somewhere where this is your business? Or is this just more of a hobby? What's sort of your vision?
Right now it's a hobby. It's still bouncing out with a lot of stuff, because originally, it's because of you, Damien, Bill, and a few others that actually sparked my interest of launching this page and this style. Because originally, I was like, I'm going to kind of keep it hush-hush and do it for, the true people that I'm cool with, when you need stuff done, and not actually branch out where it's other people can come get it. Because when I was doing the whole automotive thing, man, people just try to screw you over, you know?
Yep.
So, example, I would verbally tell you, the rough estimate, a very rough estimate of how much it would cost you for me to do something. And that's including my time, the materials, and whatever else. And I'm talking full custom pieces that don't exist, and I have to make it exist.
Yep.
So I'd tell you a piece, a rough estimate of a price. And then turn around and I'd give you a heads up, hey, so-and-so material is actually a couple dollars more than I originally thought. Is that okay? Or, hey, the price changed. Is that okay? And if you give me the go ahead, that's fine, go ahead and get it, then
you're going to do it. Yeah.
And, their attitude changes as soon as they see everything written down on a piece of paper with that price tag on it.
Yeah. It's tough, man. Especially, and the worst is when, and I'm kind of assuming the worst is when, and I think it's your friends, what I mean? That's the whole thing. People don't understand when you create an estimate, you have all of the elements financially involved with the job that's going on. So what are your expenses with doing this? What are the parts going to cost? And then you have to make money on this stuff. So it's you've got to charge your time. Your time has a value. Well, the problem is if you get an estimate on parts and then something changes along the line or whatever, and you have to figure on that, the only way you can keep it on track with the estimate in that ballpark is to eat the extra parts, which cuts into your ability to make money. So it really, really is a challenge. It's tough, but I'll tell you, this is one of those things where I think when I started my business, I started small, and I started, doing just in individual events all by referral. And then I started advertising, and I found that while I had a nice full calendar, I was doing events that I didn't really need to necessarily do the advertising. I got more fulfillment out of just referrals. And I think that you're on the right track for something like that. If somebody's got something going on and they see your sticker on that trailer and they're just oh, that's pretty awesome, I should check that out. Or they discover you on Instagram or something like that. And you can kind of use your network of people to kind of refer work in. if it needs to be done.
Exactly.
The nice thing about what you're doing is because you've got this one location, people from all over the place can't necessarily hit you up and say, hey, I'm going to drive this thing out to you for however long. I mean, if they wanted to, that's on them. You know what I'm saying?
I had one guy from Texas yesterday reach out to me. He goes, if I wasn't like a million miles away, I'd bring my kayak to you right now. I was like, where are you? He goes, Texas. I was like, how about I come to you because it's warmer?
I mean, there is that. You know, it's definitely possible. And you know, it's funny. I've heard some situations in business dealings where you'll have somebody that's got a product in one location and they need it, you know, to get somewhere else, and sometimes they'll meet halfway. And they'll just take it and then do it. But, you know, it's crazy, man. Like, I could totally see this going in a direction where you have, like, a full functioning garage going, where you're doing all of these, you know, install jobs and modifications and all sorts of stuff, whether it be on the boat itself or whether it be on the mode of transportation for the boat. Like, this could be absolutely huge for you, man. And huge for the anglers that are there, like, especially in the tournament world, you know? Especially in the tournament world, you get like, because these are guys, they need their shit to be rock solid, and they need to have a system. And that's part of the thing that I like about your designs too, D, is like, you look at your trailer and it is well thought out and it's well planned, so that you're able to carry all your stuff. Like, next year,
man, I love it.
Next year for me, you know what we should do? This is my goal. Is I'm taking a good hard look at. I don't want to say outlanding because that's way beyond me. Like, that's way beyond anything I want to get into. I'm talking about like not so stealth camping, like that. Like, that's kind of what I'm lumping it up to. But a type of situation where I can pack up the truck, pack up the kayak with all my gear and everything, head out for like 2 or 3 days, find a campground, find a place to camp that is on a body of water, set up and fish. And then this way, I'm not having to worry about pitching a tent and like setting up a huge site. I've got like a good 60 or 70% of what I need right there in the truck, you know?
Oh yeah.
And then you know, we went up to Champlain this past fall. I used the kayak to store a bunch of stuff because we were going up in my Ford, and you know, it was my father and I with all of our stuff. Plus, not only did we have all the fishing stuff and everything, but we had like this huge plano case full of kitchen items. You know, because we're staying at a rental, so we've got all kinds of stuff up there that we got to plan for. I think I brought the fryer up so that we could do a fish fry. Just crazy stuff. But you and I should plan one of these suckers. I think that would just be insane content, period.
I'm game.
You know what I mean?
Well, next year I do want to. Next year I want to visit some states and go camping again.
Yeah, I am. You know, that's one thing that your initial interview had kind of inspired in me, was the idea of doing that New England trail of, I'm going to go up here.
And then Bill sent you a text message saying, "Watch yourself."
He did. Yes, exactly. He did.
And now Bill just wants to hang out and go fishing all the time with me. So look how that changed.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, yeah. No, this is really good. I think this is going to be a huge step for you as far as, you know, obviously not just the projects and, you know, the chance to get out of, you know, I think if there were ever a guy that I knew that should really work for himself, it's you. I definitely think so. Like, not everybody can do this, you know, but it's like, I definitely think you would do really, really well with it. You know, it's like one of those things, you just got to like jump in and do it. I think it'd be awesome. Once you launch this, I was head over heels. I was like, yes, this is great.
Well, because you're one of the guys who was pushing me too, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You, Bill, and it's like every time, like, it really started opening people's eyes when I did the fish finder and custom battery box for Mass Bass Girl, her kayak.
Oh, that's right. You did her mods too.
And then I did Gravies, and everybody was just like, holy shit, because like, you see the pictures of me, you see the video of me drilling holes in, and then all of a sudden the next video shows these clean rubber grommets where the wire's coming right out of it and all clean.
Oh yeah.
Like he has a bunch of stuff he wants to add to that kayak now. And so I told him, like, well, dude, let's plan it smart. Get everything you want.
Yeah.
And then bring the kayak over, drop it off, and then pick it up.
Yeah, we'll just get it all done. And that way you're
one shot.
Yeah.
It
does make it much easier.
I want to work with people. Like, that's why, like, the whole thing is it's going to start as like me doing it as a side gig, a little hobby here.
Yeah.
Quick cash type deal. Have fun with it pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
would it be cool to have this expand into something bigger? Oh, exactly. Would it be cool with, if Joe calls me up from Old Glory and goes, "Hey, why don't you let's collab on a kayak build together?"
There you go.
I got the hoodoos here. Why don't you come up with some of your crazy ideas? Put it on. We'll put your sticker on with the OG on and sell it as like a special thing. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'd be down to do that.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's why when me and you were checking out those kayaks, I was going through them like crazy. Like, I could do this to it.
And that's the whole thing. You get into, if you look at your work on your own vessels, like it, the proof is in the pudding. Like, I mean, the first time I was on your boat, I was like, this thing is amazing. Like, this was a boat that, and I think you've got pictures of when you first got it too. Like,
yeah, when it was like just a shell.
Yeah. And it was like to go from that to what you've got now. And I mean, it's like everything's like well thought out, and that's one of the other things too. I think that you could probably offer that, I mean, could definitely help is a little consultation, like this is what I want to ultimately achieve. Let's try and get there. And throw some ideas around. So I think this is huge for you, dude. This is awesome. And then you also get that delirious stamp of approval of like, yeah, this was, DIY. Like I put this together.
Extreme,
yeah. This is really awesome, dude. So I'm psyched for you, man. I think that's
like
awesome.
I've been, so I'm pretty much basing it as budget friendly all the way around.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like, not all of us can afford all these top brand companies, even though they have great products, but we can't all afford it right now. So I was talking to someone the other day. Like right now, I literally have 4 kayaks lined up as soon as they're done fishing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, they're still using them. And like one of them is going to be a repair job where he has a topwater, has the Old Town Sportsman 106 PDL.
Oh, okay.
He's having sloppy steering with his cables, so he wants me to tighten those up for him.
All right.
And then a few other things, which it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to cost him less for me to do it than take it to like an Old Town dealer because they are pricey.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I like the budget friendly sense where it's like you're going to get good quality work versus for a good pay. Instead of paying arm and leg for the same thing,
Yeah.
So I got 4 kayaks lined up, and I told people, let's plan it out. Literally, instead of making 50 trips here to do stuff to your kayak, get the bulk of your stuff that you want. I'll put it on for you, and then send you on your way. If you're looking for something special, I'm going to offer you a top brand and low brand.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. Like, the battery company, is it Nokwa? Is that say it right?
Yeah, Nokwa.
Nokwa?
Yep.
I love their batteries.
Yep.
Their batteries are amazing, dude.
Oh yeah.
Not everybody can afford, the price tag on it. So I'm gonna tell people, hey, Amazon has, it's a 4-pound battery.
Yep.
For $15, it'll still power your fish finder.
Sure.
If you need to run a battery, run that for now. Until you can afford,
you can upgrade
their battery.
Yeah.
And then if that's the route we go, I'll go wire it up. So as soon as you get the new battery, it's a quick unwire and rewire, and you're done.
And the other thing too is like, we talk about like boutique, like I was saying, like DIY, like it's one thing to get the work done, independently. But it's another thing, the fact that like some of the parts alone, like you've got some parts on your boat that have been custom made, 3D printing and things like new technology that's kind of like inventing things that maybe you need that aren't necessarily widely available on the market just because they're at that small of a level. So that comes in really handy too. And I mean, obviously you start talking about anything custom, there's a little bit of a price tag there, but just the knowledge of knowing that that's an option is in a lot of ways, can be very attractive for if you're trying to accomplish something that's really, really unique. It's a good thing. But dude, I'm so psyched for you, man. Well,
thanks, buddy.
Why don't we go ahead? We're gonna wrap this up, but before I do, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you regarding any kind of modifications, questions, if they're curious, if they want to see your work, stuff like that. Direct them where to go. This is your opportunity.
So go right to Maniyak Mod Shop. It's spelled MANIYAK all one word. It's on Instagram, Maniyak Mod Shop. I'd say go to my fishing page, but I'd rather deal with all the kayak builds and everything on that page instead on Maniyak Mod Shop. Go there, check it out. We're actually about to hit 100 followers, and the page just started the other day.
That's awesome,
which is
dude.
Insane, and
that's huge.
I just launched the first kayak trailer I ever built. That was just launched on it and finished. Now I'm getting into the series of the Ascend 12T that I built.
Yep.
Which probably, I think it's a mixture of, I'm trying to see which kayak had the most done to it, because my 12T actually had a lot of stuff done to it that was not available to purchase, where my Old Town, it has 3D printed parts, but now you can buy them, where when I built my 12T, you couldn't buy stuff
they weren't available. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm trying to figure out which one had the most mods still, but either way, check out the page, because you see that probably, I think, almost the very first USB phone charger on a kayak ever.
That's awesome. That's huge, dude.
You know?
And the other thing, the content alone, it's not a big secret that that the content, like the boat modifications, kayak modifications, unboxings, things like this, those are huge for views. For whatever reason, people love them and they love seeing this stuff. And I mean, that's over all sorts of different groups and categories and different niches that are out there. I think for you, as far as creating content, this is great because it puts it all in one spot. You know what I mean? But you get that umbrella of it being Maniyak Mod Shop, but it's still run by Delirious Angler. It is, the two go hand in hand. It's it's one of those things. I was recently just talking with somebody about social media platforms and things like that, and how it kind of depends on what it is that you're doing. But if you are creating any kind of content or that's a part of what it is that you're trying to do. And I think in this case, it was about tournament angling. And I'm like, but the question keeps coming up, do you have a YouTube? Do you have a presence? Do you have this? It's you just kind of have to be everywhere and put a little bit of effort everywhere. But where you see the best results, you got to really kind of hammer it home. And I think for you, this is great because it does fall all under one umbrella. I think you're going to see a lot of interest in everything that you do. So this is awesome. I'm super happy for you.
And I'm also throwing out tips and information too.
I've noticed.
The other day I talked about, if you have a pedal drive and you got to replace your pedals on it, if you have a 9/16 threading on your pedal drive, you can literally buy bike pedals off Amazon that fit it.
Yep.
And I actually, I posted something about it on TikTok, and some guy who actually has an Old Town, messaged me on the side kind of saying, dude, that's kind of a kept secret. I'm like, why is it a kept secret?
Yeah.
Seriously, we should be sharing this information.
For sure.
What got me interested in it was one of my pedals, the bearings in it's shot. One of my old pedals.
Yep.
Dude, it's $26 to replace one, not a pair, just one.
Yeah.
For a factory Old Town pedal. I was like, I'm not spending almost $52 on two freaking pedals. I'm like, there has to be something different. And then I randomly came across a forum where someone spilt the beans that it's a 9/16 threading and bike pedals fit.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit.
And then think about what that does as far as opening up the options.
Oh yeah.
For
now
what
you have
get. Yeah.
Lady with a Lure. I don't know if you follow her.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cool person, man.
Yep.
She has an Old Town kayak as well, pedal drive.
Yep.
Her colors are blue and pink, so she has pink accents that she did herself on her kayak. She painted some of her stuff on her kayak pink, which is awesome. Changed her bungee to pink instead of the regular color, which is awesome. I told her the other day, I'm like, a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, did you know you can change your pedals out on your kayak? She goes, really? I was like, yeah, and they make pink ones. She was so excited.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I mean, if there's a certain style you want, if you want something with, I've seen some people before that will use, on bike pedals, they'll have a toe clip
Yeah.
So you pop your foot in there and it just fits right around your toe, like, just holds right in place. I've seen folks use stuff like that before, but it like if you find there's a certain size pedal that works better for your like giant ass feet or some shit, great. You can do that. You're not limited to what Old Town necessarily has for you, but
or any kayak company that uses those 9/16 threading, like yours probably use the 9/16 threadings too.
Yeah, possibly. Actually, it's funny because the Propel pedal drive on the natives, they do look like bike pedals. Like they have that.
It's wild.
They're not a solid piece. Like it's kind of nice. Good stuff, man. Oh, this was awesome, D. I'm glad we were able to do this. Let's go ahead and circle back around as the trailer starts to kind of develop and sort of become like more of a focus, and we'll kind of you can use the shit out of that, and I will too, to kind of like promote Maniyak Mod Shop all over the place. So I'm psyched, man.
Your trailer build, we went, I think, third variation of planning.
Yeah.
We went from all metal tracking to somewhat metal to now it's going to be wood and lightweight for you to take off when you don't need it on.
Yep, absolutely. That's going to be awesome.
And it's still going to be solid. Like we're talking about, what do we say? It's going to be about 4 feet tall for the rack, something like that.
Yeah, I think.
With like almost a 5-foot crossbar so you can put whatever you want on top.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good.
So
I'm telling you, man, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I think I might actually even color match that wood when I paint it.
I'm sure we can find silver.
Yeah. Oh, no. I want it to match the truck.
Oh, it's like an olive dab gloss almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, I call it green pumpkin.
I like it.
I call it green pumpkin. Toyota calls it army green, but I'm sure that we can match it.
Dude, most definitely. Spray paint or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But actually, spray paint's getting hard to find right now. Like, I can't find. I needed 1 can of touch-up paint for my trailer.
Yep.
Can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Because everything's still, shut down.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's like there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of projects on their own, too. So it's utilizing these sources and, it eats up the resources a lot.
I'm excited to do your trailer. Like I said, it's like rigging station. If you still want that, it's going to be on it.
I love that idea. And that's going to end up doing double duty as well, because a good example is this. Like, that might be something where I put like the camp stove, when I'm doing a trip. Like, it's going to have a lot of flexibility.
Multi-purpose.
So psyched. In fact, it might even be one of those things where I might want to put one on each side.
I mean, we can make it happen.
We can definitely make it happen.
Well, think of it this way, too. You do one on each side.
Yep.
Now you have a flat surface to put a logo or multiple logos.
You're absolutely right, I do. Right underneath. That's a great idea. Shit.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, Maniyak Mod Shop, Delirious Angler, get on it. Follow both of those accounts right now. If you're not, trust me, you're going to want to be in the loop with what's going on. He's got amazing stuff. D, thanks so much for doing this, buddy.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Awesome.
I can't wait till you get back here with that trailer, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's happening. I'm going to go take care of this video. I'm going to take the yak off, and then we'll set up some time. I'll come down and drop it off. I'm out of town. This weekend, and then I'll be back around. I have a bunch of, the holidays are tricky, but I think sometimes I've got some windows opening up in December here and there where I can go. And if you're down for me to just drop it off to you, that's super easy. I can make that happen almost any day of the week.
Heck yeah. And then we'll sit down and fully discuss exactly what you want put onto it. Because I know we're talking a reverse light possibly on the back of the trailer.
Oh, that's what I didn't tell you this. The 4Runner does not have a 7-pin plug for the trailer electronics. It has both a 7 and a 4.
Okay.
So I had to use an adapter for my 4-pin and plug it into the 7 because the wires are too short to reach the 4. So
Yeah.
I had to use that for the set because I picked one up at Tractor Supply. I was like, all right, let's just grab this. We'll plug it in. But I actually did need it to go ahead and plug in. But now this gives us even more options.
Well, you were talking how you wanted to rewire your trail lights anyway.
Definitely.
Last time.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, it's funny. One of the things that had come up was that, so I had on the Ford, I had a 2-inch drop hitch. And you remember that thing was like dead level. Like it was, with the 8-inch wheels, it was level. It was perfect. Well, the 4Runner's quite a bit higher, and not only is the suspension that much more, but it's on 20s, so it's up there. So I had gone, and when I had dropped the kayak off to 3 Bells for the steering and rudder upgrade, I stopped over there and. The 2-inch was not enough. It was like I was dragging my plate on the ground, like, and I have my plate set so it swings freely, so it wasn't like causing like sparks flying everywhere or anything like that. But it was like it was not a good thing. So I immediately went and I got a 5 1/4-inch drop, which is almost enough to make it level. I don't know if I'm going to drop any further or if I should go and put 12-inch wheels on.
What size is the ball on the hitch? Is it
1 7/8?
When you do come over again, I'll show you. I have a 7-inch drop. Let's see how that looks.
Oh, a 7-inch, really,
dude? Yeah, that was a 7-inch drop.
That's nuts. Yeah,
it's a big boy.
Yeah, we'll take a look and see how it looks, because it could be worth playing around with. That was my idea. I was like, maybe it's time to do the 12-inch wheels.
I like my 8-inch on mine, even though I've been there's a company who makes these nice 12-inch rims.
Yep.
For my. That I want, but of course they're still sitting on a cargo ship.
Yeah.
The company's like, we have 230 of them, but they're sitting on a cargo ship and we don't know when we're getting them. I was like, oh,
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Friggin' hell, man. Friggin' A. Well, yeah, we'll get to that, man. We're gonna make this trailer look amazing, and I'm psyched. Next year is gonna be out of this world. There's gonna be so much adventure. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh my god! And we definitely gotta do a planning on not just your build, but setting up a camping trip somewhere, dude.
For sure, man. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the other guys would get on that too.
Oh, hell yeah, they will. I got a couple. There's a couple of EKF dates that I'm planning on being around for too. I'm planning on heading up for the one in Maine, and then the one. Oh, I'm actually considering entering the one on the Connecticut River in Mass.
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking about entering that one. I have a couple of spots that I like over there, so I might just for the experience. I might.
Yeah,
go,
why not?
Might be fun. We'll see. I mean, I know I'm. What's the quote from the Big Lebowski? Donnie, you're out of your element. Yeah, that's me. Yes. I'm Donnie, and I'm out of my element.
No. Yes.
But it'll be fun. It'll be worth it. I'll have a good laugh. It'll be great. Awesome,
oh man,
dude.
Next year's gonna be good, dude. Next year's gonna be good.
I'm loving it, dude. I think it's great. We'll be in touch, dude. You have a good one. All right.
Hey, you too, buddy. Right. Thank you for having me.
Take care, pal. See you.
For the third time.
For the third time, and not the last. We'll see you, dude.
No, obviously not. Bye,
right.
buddy.
Have a good one. Yep. There you go, guys. That's what we call Jigs and Bigs, the final segment of this week's show, and it was a good one. I am really, really thankful that Delirious was able to make some time to talk about the Maniyak mod shop. He's got lots of good stuff on deck for you guys that you're just absolutely gonna freaking love. I am getting down there. I would like to do it early December. We talked in there about the idea of just dropping the trailer off and then taking it bit by bit. But we have a really good plan of what's going to happen here. And I would expect to see a lot of really good content from him, too, with lots of the mods that are happening. And the phone is ringing, from what I understand. This is great. This is huge.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, very, very excited. I did a little bit of decorating on the 4Runner. I did apply some of my stash of stickers that I wanted to get up there. And, you also driving a wonderful Toyota product that has that fancy rear window that is power that you can lower for ideal fart removal of the cabin. I've noticed. That's great.
Or Hornet / Yellow Jacket / Wasp / Bee.
That's a good one too. Yep. Yeah. More than farts.
Toyota's really made a multifaceted vehicle here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get anything out of that.
They nailed it. You're like, oh, I got to get this out of here. Drop that rear window. So I was like, I have a couple of stickers that I absolutely I have been holding to put on this vehicle for a while, and it happens to be one of the things where I have a couple of them. So I'm like, if they tear up and go to shit, I can replace them. I think it's going to be okay. That window, I dropped it and brought it back up a couple of times, throughout the weekend, just to get some nice fresh air, and like try it out.
You're
and
out of fart.
Yeah. How it is. It's a long road trip. They're chili dogs. It was just,
Chili dog.
a little bit of Jack and Diane going on. You know what I'm saying? I am such a freaking dumbass. Anyway, we got a couple things to talk about here. And first thing I want to jump in on is let's talk about the Spotify playlist. I added a new song this week to the Spotify playlist. And I added this song. It's on Jigs and Bigs Volume 2. If you go over to Spotify and you search Jigs and Bigs but click playlists, you'll see Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1 is pretty much locked. It's great. It basically covers a lot of stuff that we had on the show, plus a bunch of other elements that were kind of tied in with, like, I'll give you an example. Like, there's a lot of songs that mention balls because this was right around boats and scroats. So we wanted to kind of tie, so Balls to the Wall, and Got You by the Balls from AC/DC,
Big balls
from AC/DC. AC/DC does a lot of work with balls. They know how to work the balls in almost any kind of song.
Professionals.
Yeah, they do. But there's only a handful of songs on Jigs and Bigs Volume 2. And I added a third on Wednesday. I was on my way to work. I was listening to one of these playlists that was like crafted based on my listening, and a band that I had never heard before had kind of come across, and it was a group called the Dirty Knobs, and they have a song that's called "Fuck That Guy."
Fantastic.
It's so perfect for our show. So I started following them on Instagram. I sent them a message and let them know that, like, you guys don't know it, but you basically just released the unofficial, official song of one of the most popular segments of this podcast right here. And they proceeded to block me quickly. No, I'm kidding about that. They I haven't heard anything back necessarily. I don't know how they feel about it. But you guys are going to get to hear that song on the show. We're going to close out this week's episode with that song right there. So if you're listening, if you made it this far, just hang out a little bit more. Trust me, there's more good shit coming. So I added that song to the end of this show so you guys can check it out. But so there's the playlist. Of course, go ahead, check them out, enjoy them. There's a couple of...
Are we considering the unconsiderable? Is the FTG, the Fuck That Guy segment opener with Paul Heels, is that in danger now because of this song?
I don't think so.
No? This is just an addendum?
Yeah, I think this is more of a celebration of the segment. I feel like Paul owns that spot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I feel like it's grown into that. I mean, yeah, the original open was great, really popular. People really like that. The meme culture and everything. The fuck. Like, people really like that.
Yet another AC/DC reference.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But
all right, I was just checking.
When I just think that this song is just a celebration, and then I made the mistake of looking for a song called Just the Tip, and I had to leave.
You went down a rabbit hole.
It was like this nothing good can come from this at all.
You went down a rabbit hole similar to a mine shaft.
Yes. So there's that. Now we want to. Oh, somebody's chiming in over here. What do we have? Oh, Loaded Potato. See, that's what it is. Loaded Potato gets it. He says Paul is the bumper before the song. My vote. Yeah.
That's it. That just settled it. I'm good. Loaded Potato thinks it's good. We're good.
Yep. We're good.
Done.
So, as far as what we're looking at now, the next thing that I want to mention regarding merch is this. I had a brilliant idea for a T-shirt. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but I've seen this pop up on a lot of reels and on TikTok. It's a T-shirt that says, "Ask me about my ninja costume." And then, when this person says, "So what's up with your ninja costume?" You pull the shirt over your face and over your head, and printed on the inside, there's the exposed eyes of a ninja, is what that is. And it's kind of hilarious, to be perfectly honest. I think it's great. And after a week, this last week, or wasn't this week or was it the week before? It was the last couple of weeks, but I've had some people, my own father, in fact, is one of these people that has referenced before, like, "Oh, I'm doing my famous Bobby roast beef fish face, though." You know what I mean? And
I've mocked that in the past too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and it's sort of become part of the vernacular in a way, as far as, people like referencing like that. So I figure let's own it, man. We should do a shirt that says, "Ask me about my Bobby roast beef fish face." You flip that over and it's a picture of my face holding up a bass like this. We'll just grab it from, one of my Instagram photos or something like that. Take the background out of it. So it's just the bass and the face going, "Ooh," like that. I think this could be a popular thing.
We'll have to see if our friends at Mantis can do it.
Yeah, we'll have to ask around. I'll bet you they could. And our jig heads kind of got a little, I don't know if they realize this, our jig heads, just before we started recording this, got a little bit of a taste of what is coming for merch that you're definitely going to want to check out. Very custom stuff. An item that is going to be probably one of the most popular items. That is coming, but it's one of these things that's going to have to be managed with pre-orders. And then we'll have to make it because it's so special. It's such a specialty piece of apparel,
Yeah, I ran it by Mantis and they said, no, this is a giant pain in the ass to do. There has to be a minimum order on it. They were polite about it. I'm
very
definitely paraphrasing and making them sound like jerks. They were not. They were like, "Yeah, no, we can do this. It just has to be done this way because we can't keep switching the machines." Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very labor intensive. So
we'll make it worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yep. I have a quick shout out while we're in the middle of our whoring here. So, as you mentioned earlier, you and I are both horrible parents. For possibly letting our kids listen to this fucking shit show that we put on.
Sometimes forcing them to listen to this.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do in the car because I always listen every week because I miss the interviews. So it turns out a couple of my oldest son's classmates are anglers and starting out their angling career around the same time I did. And I'm not going to mention names because they're minors, but their parents listen too. And one of the parents at a game recently had said, "Hey, so-and-so picked up a Jigs and Bigs sweatshirt." I'm like, "Really? You let them listen?"
Like, to be a fly on
brave
the wall.
Yeah. But I said, "Thank you. That's awesome." So, as they get over the age of 18, I will make sure to mention them. But that's, we apparently do have some inroads in the Western Mass high schools. Everyone who's out there listening, if you're in high school, keep it to your earbuds. All right. We don't want to hear complaints because you're blasting it. Me saying something like, "Oh, I don't know, fuck, fuckity, fuckity."
Exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear that in English class. All right. Poor grammar aside, I don't want to get yelled at.
Oh,
that's all I got.
Well, when you first told me that story, I was just like, that is amazing. Never have I felt more relevant in my, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's great. It's great.
It's like I have a fishing radar because I'm sitting there at a game. This was month or two ago.
Oh yeah.
And I hear this conversation. "Yeah, we're going up so-and-so river for some steelhead." And I just turn around. "Doing a little fishing, are you?" And then next thing you know, here we are.
Yeah, it's just the way it works. I want to say this. Last night I had this weird, awkward moment where I was at the Flaming Lips show, right? And Wayne Coyne, the front man from Flaming Lips, is in this giant inflatable bubble and he's bouncing all over the stage. Like, he's just all over the place. And he comes over at one point and people are like high-fiving him and stuff like that. And I was wearing my hooded sweatshirt and I put my hands in my pockets and I felt a baby D-bomb in my pocket. I had a baby D-bomb in my pocket, right?
Throw it?
I almost gave it to him. I was almost like, hey, I want you to have this.
Marry me.
Well, the guy is like super unbelievably creative. Like there's no saying where, like how he might utilize this or, what that could inspire. Like they're a very visual group, Yeah. So like it would be possible that, maybe the next album artwork that comes out has like a giant baby D-bomb like falling toward Earth like it's an alien or something. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But call it a missed opportunity. I was like, Arr. And then I was like, my wife will kill me.
It sounded like there were no rules to this concert. I think
there were very few rules.
Fine. Yeah.
You know what they did to start the concert out? In fact, I have video of it, and I put it on the Bobby Roast Beef page, I believe. If I didn't, I'm going to post it. Before the band even came out, he comes out, and he's holding this little plastic bird with mechanical wings and like this thin, sheer fabric around the wings. And he says, at some of our shows, we like to have these like toy birds that we'll like set them free and they go flying. And like, I guess at like festivals and stuff, it's cool. They just kind of go and like to give like a little bit of understanding here. During the last song, this was in a really nice ornate theater. They released one of these giant spheres full of balloons and confetti. And people were just like punching the thing and it's going up in the air, bouncing all over the place. And, there was at one point where there was so much fog from the stage, we couldn't see it. Then out of nowhere, all of this silver glitter comes rolling towards us. And we're like, whoa, we push it back to the side. So it was really kind of nuts. And he starts the show and he goes, I had to get this new bird. So I went and I purchased it from the internet. We're going to try this out. But before I let it free, I want you guys to know that it might swoop and try to take out your face. So please be careful. So he lets it go, and the thing flies out, and it does a quick turn right after it comes back out, and then takes a nosedive right into the front row. And a guy about 2-3 seats away from me to my right gets smacked with the thing right in the head. Like he's wearing a hat. He's just like, oh. People are in costumes and stuff. It's a little crazy. So he catches it after it bounces off his head, hands it back to Wayne, and then he goes, see, what did I tell you? It hit your face. And he tries one more time, and it big, huge swoop goes up to the orchestra or up to the balcony section and comes back down, landed, and when it landed, busted the tail. It happens.
Oh,
yeah, it happens.
I'll relate a story. I'm not even going to say it was similar or as lighthearted as this one.
Yeah.
I went to a festival in 1998. Mm-hmm. And it was a hot day in early fall. It was a September festival. It was up in Worcester on a park at Green Hill Park.
Oh, yeah.
And fire hoses were out to keep everyone cool, right? Which is nice.
I think I remember this show.
It was a sandy, dirty place, and that became a mud pit because there were fire hoses. Mm-hmm. And I will give credit where credit's due for the brilliance of doing this, and then judge and criminalize the person for doing this because of the result. Someone brought an entire net bag of Nerf footballs to this, which was awesome before the fire hoses came out because it was just Nerf footballs zinging all over the
Everybody's
place.
Having a great time, yep.
Then the fire hoses came out, and those things were 10-pound sopping wet soft rocks.
Yeah.
I didn't get hit by one, but I saw people get hit by them, and it was...
Did Primus play this show?
No, believe it. No, this was the WAAF Loco Bazooka.
Yes. I was at one of them, yeah.
It was Godsmack.
I was there.
Yeah, that was Godsmack's rise. I want to say laugh at this, but I think Kid Rock was there too.
Kid Rock, and I believe Powerman 5000 as well.
I can't remember. I think
they
were.
I'd have to look at the time ago.
I'd have to look at the T-shirt. I know Kilgore was there. Yep. I know. I think Candlebox was there. I don't think we stayed for Candlebox. The second stage had some sort of a malfunction. They didn't use the second stage.
I think I remember this. I know one of those years Primus played.
I was not at the Primus.
Yeah, the Primus one was good. Buckethead was there with Primus. Good.
That was late 90s Primus. There was stuff going on.
It was interesting. But I remember the Godsmack one, and I do actually think I might even remember the footballs, because I was one where I was like, that's not going to end the right way.
It didn't.
Yeah.
That shit hurt.
That shit hurt. Oh my goodness. One more quick mention. We do have some giveaways that are happening when we start crossing over some thresholds. Sean the Fisherman is getting close. Real close. So if you're not following Sean the Fisherman, go follow him now. Remember, every time we cross a threshold of 1,000 followers, we're going to give away, like, we'll call it Tier A giveaway. There's great prizes, awesome stuff from some amazing partners that we work with. We've got Naqua in there, Old Glory Outdoors, Three Bells Outfitters. We've got Hookset Hoodlums. We've got Stretching Lines. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It's great stuff. Not only that, we double down and we give you an even better prize when we cross over a $5,000 follower threshold. We get over that line there, and now these prizes bump up significantly. So it's going to be pretty awesome. So if you're not following all of the accounts, just go ahead and do so right now. Bobby Roast Beef, Jigs and Bigs, and Sean the Fisherman. And the Jigs and Bigs is close. Once we hit that 13K, that's going to pop, and we're going to do a giveaway there. We also have some stuff that we need to give away as well from. Oh wait, no. Did those baits from Wrangling Baits? Mm-hmm. Those went to what was it, Chronic Trips? Or are we doing a separate giveaway for those?
I thought it was the Jigs. That was a Jigs and Bigs tournament? That was
that
top
might be
six.
What it is. Yeah,
I'll get you that list this week, and we'll get those out.
Yeah, that might be what it is. But yeah, I mean, we got some good baits for you, so you're going to want to check that out. I mean, we've got all kinds of stuff lined up. 2022 is going to be a huge year. The last thing I want to mention is this, and I'm kind of saving this because I've wrestled, do I want to talk about this or not in this episode? The holiday gift guide. Mm-hmm. Sean and myself have started going through and putting together lists of items that we think are awesome. And I figured what I would do is just throw a quick poll out there for the listener or for the followers on Instagram to kind of weigh in and make some suggestions, primarily because I had an idea of things I wanted to include. But if I was overlooking an accessory or something, I just kind of wanted a little bit of feedback. You guys delivered big. I mean, you delivered huge. There was a lot of folks that put stuff that I won't put on this list. They put baits, things like that. That's super specific, colors, sizes, the type of fishing you like to do, like all this stuff. So we're trying to leave that stuff off here. But for accessories, some of this stuff is really, really amazing. And I have a bunch of stuff already lined up with links ready to go. And we're going to be doing a sort of a multi-platform guide this year. We're going to obviously do the one on the show, but we're also going to be posting all of those items from the show into our story on Instagram. So you guys can go ahead and check out that story, and we're going to have links available right there so that if you see an item that you think is awesome, you go ahead and hit that link or share it with somebody who's like, hey, so I want to get you something so you can fish. What should I get you? What are you looking for? This is what you can do. And then we're going to save that story in our profile so you'll be able to go back at any time and look at the 2021 holiday gift guide right there. But my list is awesome. I've got some great stuff that's just great deals. Like you couldn't pass it up, but also stuff that I've used that I am crazy about that you're absolutely going to want to check out. I believe there was one other thing that I wanted to mention.
While you're thinking on that,
I'll think about it. You go for it. And
in the theme of giveaways,
mm-hmm.
we should you want to flesh out the details of the big giveaway that happened this week that some of our associates were involved in?
Yeah, go for it.
That kayak? Well, you know more about it than I do.
Right. Yes. So, if you have been on Instagram and you follow Veterans Fishing, there was a partnership going on there, a giveaway that was happening on that profile. You guys know a good friend of the show, Rachel Walker. Her father had actually funded I believe it was a Native Slayer 10. Native Slayer 10 from Three Bells Outfitters. And the drawing happened I think it was midweek sometime this last week. And if another good friend of the show happened to win it, and you heard him in this episode, Brandon, Dust Off Fishing. Congratulations, dude. Very, 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 very awesome giveaway to go on. And if you should, if you didn't enter, you guys should 100% go and follow Veterans Fishing. Great think there. Super, super consistent. Really, really great stuff. So go check it out. It's great stuff. I don't think there is anything necessarily that I want to add. I think that about does it all.
We've said enough.
Now it's up to you guys to go ahead and spread the good word that is Jigs and Bigs. Guys, we're going to wrap this sucker up. Appreciate every one of you for listening. We do have the greatest listeners and followers anywhere on the planet, so we appreciate you far more than you guys realize. We really, really do. Things may be getting kind of slow as far as on the water, but they're definitely heating up as far as preparing for next season. I'm talking about bringing in some elements of the outdoors and adventure that I hadn't expected to bring in yet. We'll get into a big reveal. I got a few things cooking that are going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully some more like product testing. I really like that. I thought that was awesome. So get yourself strap in for the next episode of Jigs and Bigs with a torque strap. Trust me. Trust me, guys. Guys, as always, if you have open water near you, and it's not going to be long before we don't, go out there and catch some fish. You can still get them when it's cold. You don't have to worry about it. Might have to slow down a little bit. Throw a couple extra layers on to keep yourself from freaking keeling over. But have yourselves a good one, everybody. Always a great time. We've got great stuff coming up for you soon. As always, take good care and tight lines.
Well, look at that clown, dressed up like Charles Dickens, sneaking around like Slim Pickens. If he was a woman, he'd think he was God's gift to man. Called her stick his head a garbage can. Oh, fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that guy. Ooh, it ought to be a crime. He ain't no friend of mine. Fuck that guy. Look at that heartless fool lurking around the high school. Somebody better call the cops. He ought to be arrested. Ain't nobody around here gonna get molested. No, fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, it ought to be a crime. He ain't no friend of mine. Fuck that guy. Jerk-off jerk. He's a real piece of work. Rolling and smoking cheap tobacco. He ain't nothing but a loudmouth wacko. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that guy. It ought to be a crime.